Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. 7 o'clock Sunday evening, time for another Sunday night soiree of gearheads hanging out, talking about some cool car stuff. Looks like we've got some people on with us already. Number one's here, David W. Frank's on with us. Let's see, looks like Facebook is connecting over here, hopefully. David W. got a 29 Studebaker grill shell wall hanger. Those are always great. Obviously, I have piles of them, so you know I love them. So I think those are always super cool pieces to get a hold of. David W. is ready to go tonight. Boom. Gaster61 finally made it back to join in. It's a holiday today in New Zealand, so free from work. We're glad you made it on, Gaster61. So we haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad you made it back tonight. So let's see. Facebook is rolling too, it appears to be. So Gary's on with us. As always, we are live on two formats, both Facebook and YouTube. So as you see me glancing back and forth between screens, I'm just keeping up with different comments on both formats. So if you see me addressing a comment that you don't see, it's probably on the other format. So let's see. Lots of stuff going on YouTube right out of the gate. Anthony, Jeff, Lee from New York, Jason's on, Eric's on. Pete made it tonight. Bill Wagaman, glad you made it. Everybody said hit the like and subscribe up. Bill's always got my back on that. Randy's here with us. Anthony's from British Columbia. Brandon made it on with us tonight. Lots of people rolling quickly out of the gate tonight. Always glad to see that. Dad's on with us as well. So let's see. Rusty is on also. Jeff Taylor made it back. Johnny Z's on. Mark from Syracuse. It's been a while on Facebook, but he's back tonight. Tweedly D's here. We got some Auburn badge going on too for all of you. Anyway, as always, a little bit of housekeeping. Trolls, I ignore them. They're trying to get my attention. I'm going to ignore them. You guys do a great job of running them off. I don't want to have to make this, subscriber only or membership only. So we let everybody hang out, play along. And when we get a troll, you guys do a great job of running them off. Make sure they're not welcome here. I'm just going to keep ignoring them. You guys do a super good job of taking care of them. I appreciate that. Please check your autocorrect before you hit send on your comments. If I can't make out your comment or I can't understand it because autocorrect changed some of the words, I will have to skip it and move on. I do try to catch as many comments as I can. There are times when I do miss some, and I apologize. Then when things get pretty busy and get rolling pretty quick, especially during auction time. During auction time, I'm basically looking just for numbers. So I do usually miss a few. I apologize. I try to catch as many of them as I can. Jim's on with us. Mike from New Waverly, Texas. Dennis is here. Jason got a Chrysler Dodge dealer sign. Nice. Some hubcaps and a matchbook this week. Tim's here. Bill Disk is on. And let's see. Kenny's on with us. Scott's on with us on Facebook. Anthony liked the Trans Am video. Yeah, that's a pretty. I'm pretty still excited about that car actually. Alec from New Hampshire. If you guys didn't catch it, and I know you haven't caught it on Facebook unless you went over to YouTube and looked, like we talked about last week, you guys have been wanting some of videos on some of my personal collection. I did have that blue Trans Am out, so I did a video on it. Ryan and Amy are here. And so it, there again, if the best thing to do is go back and watch it, but all the cool stuff about that car, local car, all the history on it, all the way back to the notes where the original owner literally made the list of the options he wanted on the car, came with it. So appreciate that. Thanks, Anthony. But yeah, that's a cool car. I've always loved that car, and I'm super excited when I had the chance to buy it. And that's one I don't plan on it going anywhere for a really long time. If you were on the Nobody Show page on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. If you want to watch there, you're fine. If you just want to hang out, that's great. If you want to comment, participate in the auctions, participate in trivia, you will need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page because that is where the video is shared from, or the Nobody Show YouTube channel. Those are the comments that I have right in front of me live in real time as we're going. So if you're on the Nobody Show Facebook page, I cannot see those comments. Let's see. Oh, lots of comments popping up. Lots of comments on the Trans Am video. I appreciate that. Yeah, and that's right. Nate Bankshift did pick that video up as well. So Chad did run the Trans Am video was on Bankshift also. So Bud made it. Yeah, Yeah, that's right. The stories about the decals on the hood scoop. What's the difference between the honeycomb and the wheels that mine has? Yeah, that's right. It was just an option, Pete. You can order the snowflakes or you have the Rally 2s. So, and this car was ordered with Rally 2s. I've got several sets of snowflakes, 15 by 7s and 15 by 8s. And I've thought about putting some on it, but, it's a lot of work. And, by the time you polish them and then repaint the inserts and everything, and, it's a lot of work and it's not technically the way this car was ordered. So, Stan's on with us. Mark on Facebook, any plans with my daughter's cab over? With her in school, it's just kind of on the back burner. It's sitting over in the shop, just kind of on the back burner for right now. So, but yeah, I haven't been doing anything with her cab over lately. That's right, Pete. Imagine I have several sets of something. Auburn badge. So let me get caught up on comments here. Lots of them on the car, and I appreciate that. It's cool that you guys dig it as well, and that's what the story about the car. Always knowing it, or knowing about it, even though nobody had seen the car for years. It was just kind of cool, and I was just lucky that I got the chance to buy it and add it to my collection. So, Jason has a matchbook from Plymouth and actually has little strips of what looks like small nail files. I think I've seen those before. That's literally what they are. It's just nail files. If you didn't smoke, they'd give you a book of nail files. I think I've seen those before. So, that car is a 400, Eric, and the last year for a 455 in any Pontiac was 76. After 76, everything was a 400 or a 301. So, all those 77, 78 Trans Ams were all 400s. So, it is a 400 Pontiac. All right. If you're on Facebook or anywhere else, you'll go out there and throw a share out there. Let your friends know we're on. Invite them over to join us. And have a good time and hang out with us tonight. So what else is going on? I know today here it was super windy, crazy windy. Been fighting that. Not even fighting. I couldn't even go do anything really. Brian's on with us on YouTube. I was going to try to go shoot some pictures for eBay today. And I thought, well, maybe if I take like one part at a time, I can hold it down while I take pictures of it. But the wind was so bad that the skies almost looked yellow. There was so much dirt in the air today. So literally I was stuck in the shop pretty much all day. Moved a couple cars this morning, but other than that, I was pretty much stuck in the shops. Jason says windy there too. Bill Disc, any twisters where you are? I've never seen one. Knock on wood. I've lived in Kansas my whole life. I've never seen one. Seen a lot of weird cloud formations, a lot of weird things like that, but never have seen one. So, Johnny Z, getting all of your dust in eastern Nebraska. Yep, it's definitely blowing that way. It's a south wind. Charles is on with us. So, yep, it's all heading straight to Nebraska. That's for sure. But that kind of screwed up the day, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Unfortunately, Hudson Badge. But what else happened this week? Hutch Swap Meet. Went to the Hutch Swap Meet on Friday. Gasser 61 says it's even windy in New Zealand. So Hutch Swap Meet, like I've told you guys before, it's not a biggie. It's a smaller one at the state fairgrounds. Not too far for us, only about a 50-mile run. So Dad and I usually try to catch it. Did okay there. It's not a big enough swap meet with enough volume for it to be really huge, but we always end up bringing a decent load home. It's always worthwhile. So I brought you a video Friday night, just kind of some sights and sounds of where we're zipping around on the golf cart, things like that. Here tomorrow or Wednesday, I will bring you a video on what I actually brought home. And there may be a few pieces of that right down here in the auction pile for tonight that you haven't even seen yet. So keep that in mind. But what's the best thing you ever found in a car or truck that you kept? I don't know. Probably just money, I guess. It's weird. Some people come out and sell you a car, even on some of the newer stuff, they're selling for scrap and then leave $10 worth of change in it. I don't get it, but people do it. I don't really know of anything super outstanding that I found inside a car, but It's always good to find money. Eric, you missed some good cans in Hutch. Apparently so. I bought some cans there, but I didn't buy any really great cans. David W. went to a huge Studebaker and Chrysler auction in Michigan, 215 cars. Wow. Any ammo? I don't know. I didn't buy any ammo. I didn't even look for ammo. I sold a bunch of ammo at the auction yesterday we went to, but I didn't buy any ammo there either. But like I said, we'll be bringing you that video from the Hutch Swap Meet. There is some cool stuff that I did find, some cool stuff right down here. You guys are going to get to see here shortly and possibly have shipped to you here in the next couple days as well. But plus, I got a few cool toys that we're going to be checking out on Toy Tuesday. Tim Stanger, Mr. Good Pliers, was there, and he brought a toy. He's like, your viewers are going to dig this. I'm just going to sell this to you because you've got Toy Tuesday. And he goes, I know your viewers are going to dig it. So I got a cool toy that I bought from Tim that we're going to check out, as well as another little toy that I got down there. Probably, I don't know if we'll get to it this Tuesday or next Tuesday. We might try to squeeze it in this Tuesday. So that's coming up. And let's see. Jason, drinking Pabst and shooting Goldschlager tonight. Holy cow. So you might want to slow down, Jason. That might be a long night. Time we throw a few more of these up there. That might be make for a tough evening. The museum project. I didn't do a lot with the museum project this week that we talked about last week with the National Road Museum. I did email in some descriptions. We talked a little bit on email, but no big news to talk about as far as the museum project, other than I wrote the descriptions for several different pieces of the car part of that display. So we, hopefully that'll be coming together, and hopefully I'm going to be able to share some more of that with you guys here soon. I know Ruth was busy this week. I was busy this week. I got her to the description. She said, perfect. They look great. we'll be in touch with them the week. And then that never came together. And I was Hutch Swap Meet Friday, auction Saturday. So let's see. David W. Is a swap mostly automotive or general items? It's pretty much all automotive, David. Any swap meet I go to is pretty much got to be all automotive. Addie is here to terrorize the live. So I have arrived to terrorize the live. Okay, well, I'm glad you're here, Ad. Just don't terrorize everybody too bad. Let's see. Chris is on with us. And then went to an auction Saturday, car auction real estate. My partners on F&E, they have a consignment sale every fall and every spring. Picked up a couple pieces there that I will be sharing with you. Who remembers the Southwind heaters? We actually did a video on Southwind heaters a while back. Anybody remember us discussing Southwind heaters and what they actually were? Yeah, Tim says Addie's here to supervise me. That's probably some truth to that. Brian Dispatch is on with us. Southwind heaters. Anybody remember the Southwind heater? The fire hazard in a box that most cars in the 30s and 40s had in them. That's right, Jason. That's exactly right. They were gas powered. They ran a line from right around the carburetor, straight inside the car, straight into the heater, right under your dash, and fed gasoline to it and burned it for heat. I got a cool parts cabinet, an original Southwind heater parts cabinet at the auction we're going to be checking out. Zach's here with his whiskey business. Shark's on with us. Let's see. Just trying to keep up with things here as we roll. So we're definitely going to be checking that parts cabinet out. It's even got some parts still in it, believe it or not. Some brackets and things like that. So we'll be sharing that with you. And I got another super cool toy at the auction yesterday. And there's a reason I bought this toy in particular, so we'll get into that too. So more toys from the auction. We'll be bringing you that coming up on a coming Toy Tuesday. So, and Dad got a bunch of parts over there too. Dad bought some Chevy truck parts, things like that. So it was a productive day there as well. And any spare time I had this week, I had to get 2 Red Ram Hemis ready to ship. So that took a big chunk of my week. Guy wanted a pair of Red Rams. So I pulled one of them out and I stuck it inside. I took the 54 Dodge car, took all the doors and everything off of it. The doors, the front clip, pulled the other red rim out of the 53 Dodge and got it out this week and got it literally stuck inside of the 54 Dodge and tied down inside the car. Just sat it right on the floor pan, tied it to the B pillars in the back, in the front, and then in the back, and we'll see if it makes it back east. So that took up some of my time this week as well, which means I've got to haul some cars this week because I didn't pick up any cars again this week. Which means I'm now at, still at 50 some cars, and it is October 23rd and I've hauled one car this month. So I've got to get to hauling this week, got to get some stuff drug in. A lot of cool stuff that, I need to get drug in and do videos on. I mean, I already wrote checks for it. I already own it. I got to get it in and get something done with it. Stan, will Dad come on the show? At some time we might be able to talk him into swinging by. Jason, do I have any Hemis left? I've got some Hemis. They're all first gens. I've got a 2 Firepowers, 2 331 Firepowers, Chrysler Firepowers, 1 extended bell housing, 1 short bell housing. I've got 1 DeSoto Hemi that's actually in that 55 DeSoto wagon. And then I've got 1 more Dodge that's like a 58 out of a truck. That's like a little under 300 inch. I don't remember. So I've still got 4 first generation Hemis right now. That's right. Anthony, winter is coming. That's for sure. Brandon, looking for a DeSoto straight 8. I don't have anything that I would know anything about, depending on which one it is. Rico and Jess are here. Brian Dispatch, how far east are the Rams coming? I think Jersey, no, I did not buy the industrial Hemi at the swap meet, Nate. There was an industrial Hemi at the Hutch swap meet that you guys probably may have seen in the video. It was a running engine. He wanted pretty strong money for it for an industrial Hemi. I didn't stop and ask about it. I just heard him price it to a couple of guys. But I don't know if the cooling system had been redone on it. The industrial Hemis, the ones that were used for power units for like irrigation and power plants and air raid sirens, yes, they were used for air raid sirens as well, had a different cooling system than a normal car engine. So basically everything on the front of the car or the front of the engine, as far as the front cover and the water pump mount, all that stuff, all has to be changed to put an industrial engine in a car. Let's see. Kenny, how's Dad's healing coming along? Just slow but sure. Just still fighting his ankles. David, is a 291. It's something like that. It's something like it's a 57, 58 truck Hemi. Let's see. Anthony did notice it. Jess is working on her 301 Poly. That's going to her 46 Plymouth. Yeah. Bill says save 2 Hemis for the airplane. Yeah. That's right. There was a Nash in that video as well. Jess was paying attention. I knew she'd catch that right away. Catch that too. Jason's on a fridge run. Hurry back. We'll give you an Auburn badge. So anyway, that's what I've got going, have going. And let me make sure we're caught up here and be ready to head into the promo model, some badges and emblems, some auctions, and finishing up the magazine from last week. We got lots of cool stuff. That's right, but at this rate, I don't have to hire somebody to haul cars for you. Yeah, I know. David W. is working on a video of the auction. There were a lot of DeSotos up there as well, so he'll have a video out on that auction that he went to this weekend. And looks like we're all caught up. That means it's time to move on to a promo model. This week's promo model is the 1957 Ford Thunderbird in red. These are a neat little promo. They're not extremely difficult to find. This one's in pretty decent shape. The windshield frame is all intact. Red with a white and gold interior. Pretty much a typical type Thunderbird color configuration. Billy Bowman's on with us. This obviously, this is an old promo. It has a little bit of warpage, but really not too bad. It is an AMT friction drive. The bumpers are still intact on this promo. We can see the 1957 right there on the rear. And the front bumper also still intact. On the bottom, this is a little bit different. It has a metal base with the friction drive on it. Alec digs it as well. A lot of you guys are liking this one. We see the friction drive on it. We see the little gear here. This is a metal base We see the AMT, kind of. I don't know if you guys can see it very clearly or not. Stamped in the metal base. Number one that looks like a match for the Red Mustang Fastback. Yeah. I don't think it's not going to make an excellent trivia prize because this is going back in my cabinet. But Jason, if he lived closer, he would eat all cars for me. So anyway, this promo does exhibit a little bit of warpage, as most of these earlier promos do. If we look right down the sides here, it is not perfectly straight anymore, but it's not bad. We've seen them a lot worse, that's for sure. So not too bad on this one. Like I said, with the windshield frame being intact, that's type of stuff was common to be broken. And then, of course, the steering wheel sticks up above the body after the windshield was broke. So this one in fairly decent shape. David W., what engines did they have? They had Y blocks. They were powered by the old Ford Y blocks. I don't know if 292 was standard or if all the birds automatically got 312s. I know a lot of birds did have 312s, but I didn't know if it was standard to get a 312 in a bird. So big jobs here with us at a family function. Son's garage painting. I'm glad you made it. So there it is. Like I said, pretty decent little promo, considering its age, considering, these are early plastic and the fact that it's held up this well. Odd being, a metal base friction drive, but kind of a cool piece. So, but that's why we check out promos. We all love promos. We always like to check them out, talk about them, look at them. So that's why we started working one in. And tonight we looked at the 1957 Ford Thunderbird in red. Addie likes plastic. Yep, that's true. Those are Fox 292 and 312 and 57. So the 312 you had to order. So, okay, that clarifies that. All right, badges and emblems. The promo section is fun. I'm glad you guys came up with it and wanted to add it. And it's always cool talking about the different types of cars that we can find promo models for. I also like Hudson badges around here. Time for some badges. As always, we will do a pre-war and then we will do a post-war. We'll start off with our pre-war as usual. Going back to the 1928-1929 era for a fairly new company at the time called Pontiac. Yes, after Pontiac was introduced as a sister car to the Oakland in the mid-20s. This particular badge is 28-29. 26-27 used a badge very, very similar to this. It was slightly different. Literally about the only difference I could see looking at my favorite website, American Auto Emblems, was this wreath where you can see part of the wreath right here on the 26-27. This circle covered the whole wreath. You'd see the wreath here and the wreath here, but you cannot see the edge of it. So literally that's about it. Brandon wants to buy this too. I think I'm going to keep it. Pete digs it, but we all know a lot about Pontiac post-war. I mean, it was pretty common, the GTOs, the Firebirds, things like that. But pre-war, when they became a sister car to the Oakland, that's part of the story that a lot of people don't know as well. So thanks to AmericanAutoEmblems.com, we got some information to check out. Pontiac was introduced in 26 by the Oakland Motor Car Company, which was part of GM, as a companion car to the Oakland, the sales of which had begun to decline. So Oakland was on a slide. So they introduced their own competition, basically. I didn't understand that. Zach's never seen it. He digs it. A lot of you guys are digging it. It's a cool piece, that's for sure. The first Pontiac was a conventional L-head 40-horse six-cylinder, but it was offered at a low price, similar to that for a four-cylinder car from other manufacturers. It was an immediate success, and the first-year Pontiac sales of about 77,000 cars was a record for American automobiles, beating the Chrysler record from 1924. In 1926 and 27, Pontiac also built some car-based light vans. A larger six-cylinder engine followed in 1929, together with a new styling look, which helped to boost Pontiac sales. But the stock market crashed in October of 1929, and Pontiac and Oakland sales fell. Oakland production ceased in 1931, and the company became the Pontiac Motor Company in 1932. Dave says, "Is it brass?" I don't think it's brass. It's kind of a copper color, but it's a covering over the base. So I'm not sure what material it actually is, but it's kind of a copper color. A new V8 Pontiac joined the line in 1932, but only lasted for 1 year. And that was a very, very odd V8. Very unique design. If you're curious about old engines, look up the 1932 Pontiac V8. There were actually a couple of them in the new yard when I bought it, and some guy that was trying to rebuild one of those came and bought these engines that I had just because they're so unique and so difficult to find. Even though the ones I had were rough, he still bought them just for pieces. For 1933, the all-new Pontiac cars were powered by straight-eight engines and had new streamlined body styles, but were offered at low prices compared to the competition. In 1935, Pontiac production rose to 175,000 cars from a low of 42,632, and a six-cylinder model was reintroduced. Pontiac sales reached 282,000 in 1941, putting Pontiac in fifth place in sales history in 15 years. So pretty big steps, Joe, or jumping by leaps and bounds almost, to go from a new company in 26 or a sister company in 26 to number 5 in the U.S. in 15 short years. So Alan, Pontiac had the V8 option in 32, which is a carryover motor from the Oakland ending in 31. So Tweedly Pontiac should just broke away from GM in 08. Preston and Silly Putty pour wax on the indentation to make a wax version for the shelf. So, but this is kind of a different badge. It's got a metal base back here. It has pins. You guys can see these mounting pins that basically just folded over. And this metal base on the back is a separate piece. If you look closely, you can kind of see the edges where the cap, I guess, so to speak, is pressed around this base. So to make the overall badge. So don't know much about it. Obviously, I didn't take it off. This came with those huge collection. Alec wants a little closer up look on Facebook. Let's see. All right. Jason's oldest daughter tried Goldschlager with him, so we better give her a Hudson badge for that. So anyway, there we go. The 1928-1929 Pontiac Chief of the Sixes, product of General Motors badge. There is a ton of detail in this thing if you guys can't tell. Eloy made it with us. Nope, that's not Farrah Fawcett up there. It's Heather Thomas. Heather Thomas is keeping an eye on us. So Jim said there was a group of men who did try to buy Pontiac in 08, but it fell through. So I've not heard that story. So anyway, there it is, the super cool, super detailed 1928-29 Pontiac Chief of the Sixes badge. Now, we're going to jump up post-war. And this is actually, I think, a radio delete. But it kind of looks like an emblem, and it's pretty cool. And it's really shiny and has an awesome script in it, so I figured it counted. This is a radio delete plate, mid-50s era. Not sure exactly what it came out of, for a Studebaker. Holy cow, you can't even hardly see. Wow, you see how bright it is? It's like a freaking mirror. You can't even hardly see. I hope you guys can even make it out. This is out of that Studebaker collection. I just got out of those several boxes of Studebaker parts. If I sell my Heather picture, then we won't have her every week. So we can't do that, Ozark. Mark, got it. My Auburn spark plugs from the auction. Most definitely send out the check. Okay, perfect. Great, Mark. Not a problem. Everybody's all over this thing. It is a cool piece. Bill says he'd take his radio out just to have it. Highlanders here. Stuck at the firehouse. Yep. That's, at least you're there keeping everybody safe. I need your address, Highlander. It wasn't on your last payment, and I have not had time to go back and try to find it on one of your other ones. So just a quick note. I don't think it's new old stock, David. Addie says, don't sell it. Okay. The numbers you guys were throwing out, I was about ready to start considering selling it. Addie says that she wants to keep it. But it is super cool. Condition's excellent. I mean, it looks great on the back, but this is an interior piece too. So, I mean, it could be new, but I don't know if it is. But it obviously is in amazing shape. And it's not really scratched up. I mean, even an interior piece would have gotten bumped and scratched a little bit. And this thing really isn't. It is about the size of a radio. Overall, it's about 9.5 by 2 3/4. So it's 9.5 long, 2 3/4 tall. So it is, I mean, send signals with it or something, like a mirror, you know, catch the sunlight, send Morse code with it. So yeah, that's right, Kenny. Addie's terrorizing already. So it is a cool piece. And Chris says he put it in his F100. It's so cool. Alex trying to bid on Facebook. Everybody else is trying to bid on YouTube. But yeah, it's a cool piece. It is dished. I think you guys can see how the dish is in it. And then just got the super cool Studebaker script right across it. I hope you guys can see it, because the reflection is so bad that it's difficult to see. But like I said, it is a cool piece. It is mid-50s era Studebaker radio delete. So Sam's here with us. But anyway, Studebaker fridge or pickup. I think this was car. Mark said he put his sunglasses on. We're good. So anyway, Amy says it looked great in their 47. Yeah, it's super cool. But and it's in great shape. So and that's right. Addie is a fan of Studebakers. So anything that's Studebaker is going to be tough to talk her out of. I can tell you that. Jason says I can comb my hair in it and I'm bald. So it's about what it's like. Alex says the reflection is what really makes it stand out. Yeah, it is. Like I said, it is pretty cool. So there it is. I thought it was a cool piece. I didn't realize it was going to be this cool piece. I didn't realize everybody was getting so excited about it. But it's such a great shape. The font is so cool, really makes it stand out. And it's just a cool piece. So there again, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad everybody thought it was as cool as, and actually this isn't even the cool piece out of there. There's a couple pieces in there that I'm kind of saving that are even cool, that are way cooler than this or any of the other stuff. At least I think so. So we got more cool Studebaker stuff coming. Glistens like his Mercury airplane. Yep, that's true. So there it is. Tonight's badges, the 1928-29 Pontiac and the mid-50s Studebaker radio delete plate with super cool Studebaker script in it. Outcast Projects is on with it on YouTube. I did meet Outcast yesterday at the auction, at the car auction, real estate consignment sale. Outcast Project on with us right now. It was great meeting you as well, and glad you stopped and said hi. So be sure to check out Outcast Projects as well. Jason says it glistens like his head. Jim, if the lights go out and that... Yeah, that's right. Good point, Jim. If we lose power... all you got to do is get a flashlight and this and just shine it off of this, and then we can look at anything. Let's see. Kenny digs them great. Glad you guys all enjoyed it. And it's a cool piece. So, cool pieces tonight. Always have fun with the badges as well. It's always a good time. Tony's here. A little late, been working on his 38 Willies. That's true, Zach. You could about start a fire with that thing. Whoa, drop the Auburn badge. We're going to give it to you anyway. So that all being said, that means we're about ready for auction time. Who's ready for auction time? Okay, Highlander, you're on. We just talked about your address. Buchanan, I'm still waiting on an address from Buchanan, and I cannot find that on any of your old payments. If you're on with us, Buchanan, make sure to give me a shout and let me know, because I don't know. I know I've shipped to you before, but I don't know where it was at, whether it was a text or an email or PayPal, but I can't find your address either. But auction time tonight, like I said, we did pick up some cool stuff at the Hutch Swap Meet. We've got a little bit of that mixed in tonight. We've got a bunch of other cool stuff mixed in I had laying around. And where do we start? What do we got? Hubcaps, emblems, oil cans, license plates, super cool valve cover, and kind of a heavy piece too. So let's get started off with something small. Let's do some. We didn't even do any matchbooks last week. Let's do a little group of matchbooks, maybe a couple little emblems and badges. And Tim says, give him a minute. He's still trying to get his vision back after staring at the Studebaker sign badge too long. So we better give everybody a second, let their eyes readjust after staring at the Studebaker badge too long. Mark is ready for some license plates. Chris wants to sell Heather, but if we sell Heather, we won't have her here every week. Oh. All right, we'll start off with a couple of small things. Well, let's run through the rules real quick and the details on auctions. I watch both formats, Facebook and YouTube. We've got guys playing on both formats. So if you hear me announce a bid that you don't recognize, it's probably on the other format. If we have spammers or trolls that try to start jumping in and start throwing numbers out, I will ignore them. If they're making stupid comments, then they start throwing numbers out there, I will ignore them. And because that's all they're trying to do is get my attention. I check money order, Western Union, PayPal, friends and family. Any of those work for me. If you have questions, you can always call me tomorrow. If you're not sure about how something's going, but you're really interested in it, you want to bid on it, go ahead, throw a bid in there. And if you're not sure how to handle it and get me paid after the fact, call me tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Not a big deal. If you're sending a check or money order and you want to wait for a couple weeks and get it built up before you do that and ship it at one time, perfectly fine with me. Just let me know so I know what's going on. As I go through, I keep track of this every week, everything everybody buys, and then I check them off as they're paid and shipped and things like that. So as long as I know that, you're waiting a few weeks, I got no problem with that. Same with non-U.S. buyers. If you're a non-U.S. buyer and you want to play, that's perfectly fine. However, it does cost me to get paid, whether you do a bank wire or however you do that. So you will be responsible for those fees as well as shipping to get it to you. And there again, if you want to buy for a couple weeks and build it up, no problem with that either. Just let me know. Jason says he's liquored up and ready for the auction. So anyway, and if there's any other questions, be sure to throw them out there. And John's on with us. And let me know what you think. Or like I said, if you want to bid on something but you're not sure how to get it paid for and get it handled, just call me tomorrow if you win something. We'll figure it out. Real simple, not a big deal. Leo, cool stuff as always. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Leo. Another Hudson badge. As always, we will put this on a timer. When we get to after we get done with the description, I will hold something up. We will look at the condition. We will check it out. I will give you some dimensions. We'll look at the backside. We'll look at the front side. We'll talk about it. We'll kick it around. We'll flip it upside down. We'll take a look at it. After we get done with the description, I will put it on a timer right here on my phone. Once we put it on the timer, you have 2 minutes. I will announce when 1 minute has passed. I will announce when 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. Everybody seems to have some sort of a delay. Some people, it's just a few seconds. It goes through pretty quick. Some guys do run into delays up to 20 and 30 seconds. That varies depending on your internet service and whatever you're watching on. Smart TV, iPhone, desktop, tablet, all that stuff seems to affect it. So I'll announce when a minute has passed. I will announce when a minute 30 has passed. When I announce a minute 30 has passed, you might be thinking about your max bid because it's about time to put it in, because by the time I announce the minute 30, we're probably just about done. And if you're thinking about a max bid, make sure that that's what you try to go with. There's a lot of guys that, bid $1 and $2 at a time, but the guy that throws that extra 5 or 10 out at the end is usually who ends up with the piece. Shipping is included on the small pieces. There is the heavy piece tonight will be separate shipping. Other than that, most of this is going to roll pretty much shipping included. So anyway, lots of comments popping up. Gaster61 just says he wants the whole yard. Shopcat popped over to Outcast. Check him out. Perfect. Great. Zach says the snipers are ready. I think he's talking about himself, but Mark's got his scope dialed in, so everybody's ready to roll. We'll give you one more Hudson badge. We'll start off with a few small pieces and kind of get rolling. and see what we can do tonight and how much fun we can have on the auction. Starting off there again with just some matchbooks, some small pieces. Bought a big matchbook collection with a lot of cool stuff in it. And let's check some of these out. Like I said, we'll start off with a few smaller pieces and then work into some bigger stuff that's a little more money. And here we go. Let's start off with these are restaurants, bars, hotels. Like I said, some of these are duplicates. There was a couple of hundred matchbooks in here. So this batch here, I think we've done some of these before on these. Miller Billiards and La Fonda Hotel. Great graphics on these. Zach started us off at 10. Grant, straight 6 fan. Let's take a day off and drive out to the yard. Just give me a shout, Grant. There's not a day that historically works better or not. Jason's at 10. And the Mart Restaurant and Frank's Cafeteria and the Continental. Mark at 15. All 4 one-shot on the matchbooks. Great colors, great graphics. We're going to kick this thing live on the timer. The timer is now rolling. We've got Mark at 15. Like I said, I will announce when 1 minute has passed and when 1:30 has passed. I'm going to make my notes. So I can keep up with the shipments. And let's see. All right. Great artwork on these things. These are all opened up and flattened out. Inside's not much on these. That's why I didn't just kind of skip them, because there really isn't much on the insides on these. Some of them have some really cool stuff. So the Continental was in Washington, D.C. Mike wanted to know if it was in Iowa. This Continental was in Washington, D.C. And 1 minute has now passed. We are past the 1 minute mark on this thing. Mark at 15 is my high bidder. Tony says it's snowing there. It's not snowing here, and you can definitely keep that. I'm not ready for snow. Mark at 15. Minute 20 has passed, just about to that minute 30 mark. And 1:30 has now passed. So be thinking about your max bids. Mark at 15 on the super cool artwork on the matchbooks. So 20 seconds. 15 left to go. 10. Mark at 15. Jason at 20, and right, that was like at 159 and change. Jason at 20. Zach came in right after that, but we were past the 2 minute mark. Jason at 20. That was some pretty quick shooting there right at the end. I thought that was about done. I thought it was Mark's until 158, 159. All right, a couple of other little pieces. These are kind of different. We haven't done any of these in the past, but I wanted to do some there again. That's right. So that's right. Outcast bid late for the best chance. But when you're on the timer, sometimes you can be a little bit too late. These are kind of some cool pieces. There's 2 of them. It's going to be a kind of a small badge bundle for our Mopar fans. Jason says he's a fan of the billiards. These are actually early 50s, maybe even late 40s, clock delete plates out of a couple of Mopars. This is a Dodge. This was a Wayfarer. This would have had some color back in here that's faded out. You can still see the Wayfarer very clearly. This is 4 3/8 by about 2. So it's about 4 3/8 by about 2, not counting the mounting brackets. You could use the mounting brackets. You could cut them off. It is plastic, so it's kind of a cool piece. The fading definitely takes away from it, but it's not busted up, and it's something kind of different. The next one is super cool, and these are going together. This is a Plymouth clock delete plate with the ship on it. This one does still have good coloring. I don't know what color the Wayfarer was supposed to be. If it was supposed to be black, obviously this was a Dodge, so it was a little bit different. This one is a Plymouth, obviously, with the ship in it and some gold stripes. Black background with gold ship and gold stripes in this on the Plymouth delete plate. This one, not counting the mounting tabs, 3 7/8 by 2 1/4. So 3 7/8, not counting the mounting tabs, 2 1/4 tall. These are kind of unique pieces. They're a little bit different, something that we haven't done before. But I have them sitting around. It's like, those are kind of cool. So I thought we'd throw them up here and see what you guys think. Wayfarer, you've got just what I need. So anyway, what's everybody think of these? Anybody interested in them? No bids up there yet. So curious as to see what, it's like I said, we haven't done anything like this before. It's something kind of different. They're just kind of cool pieces. Mark's going to kick us off at 20. So there is definitely interest in them. Brandon's at 20. So let's go ahead and get it on the timer. We've got Mark at 20. Brandon at 21. I think the Wayfarer, it just is faded. You can see a little bit of specking right here where I think this had color. It just is kind of faded off. But you could put, there again, you could repaint this background in any color you wanted to. The Wayfarer is still white. So you could repaint the back of this in any color you wanted. It actually would probably look pretty cool. So there we go. We've got, Leo says, put them on a rat rod. Mark at 25. So I don't think the Wayfarer wasn't supposed to be clear. It just faded out, but now you can repaint it anything you wanted. Ticking along on here. Better get my notes caught up. Because we are just about up to the 1 minute mark. And 1 minute has now passed. I've got Mark at 25. And 1 minute 20 has passed. Now, these are plastic. These are both plastic. I don't remember if I said that or not. These are both just total plastic pieces. So minute 30 has passed. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. So be thinking about your max bid if you're going to jump in on these clock deletes. 20 seconds to go. Mark at 25. 15 to go. 10. Brandon at 26. John at 30. And that does it. John at 30. Randy says spray reverse with a candy color and it will remain translucent with coloring behind it. So that'd be cool. Eric says go with blue metallic. So like I said, it's, they're a little bit different than what we typically do, but it's still kind of some cool badge type pieces. So glad you guys like those as well. Tape them back together so I know they stay together. That's right, Mark. It's going to be another one of those nights. How about we do a license plate? How many Hudson badges have everybody already had, Grant? Well, we'll give them another one. We do have some license plates tonight. I did find some more cool license plates at Hutch, as well as still digging out boxes of my own stuff I've had stashed. This one, we're going to go back to 1958 on a Kansas plate. This is more of a standard size plate. 58 had a cool color, blue background with yellow letters. 5263, CD County. Not sure which one that one was. But this is like a standard size plate, 12 by 6, I think. Yeah, 12 by almost 6. On the Kansas 58 plate, like a lot of these Kansas plates where they've got the state corner cut out in the stamping. Some of them actually had them cut out. These later 51s all had them stamped out like that. Charles says this was Cloud County. So, okay. Makes sense. Anyway, who's going to kick us off on the 58 Kansas plate? The back does have some light surface rust as well. It is not rusted out. No extra holes, few little dings and dents around the edges. But there again, it is almost 65 years old. So let's get ready to get this one on the timer. We've got some bids coming in at 15. I had Eric first at 15. Let's kick this thing off on the timer so we are ticking along. Eric at 15. Mark at 20. Do you have many other states? A few Highlander, not a lot. I've got one other state in the box for tonight we were going to get to. But I don't have, I mean, we're basically right in the middle of Kansas. So I get a little bit of for the surrounding states, but not much. If I was one, more west, I'd have more Colorado, more east, I'd have more Missouri, but not a lot of a big area of states, just miscellaneous stuff. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark, 1 minute has now passed. So we're on the backside of this. How's Norma doing? I did not talk to her this week, Tony. I did call her last week, and she said she had a torn ACL and just was not getting around much and just hadn't been feeling her up to herself till she had surgery and got her ACL fixed. So anyway, ticking along. I've got Mark at 20, and minute 20 has now passed. So be thinking about your max bid if you're going to jump in on this one once we get past that minute 30 mark, which is right about now. A minute 30 has passed. If you're going to jump in on this, Jess is at 30. So be thinking about your max bid as this one ticks down. Jess at 30. 20 seconds left to go. 10. Mark at 35. 10 seconds, just under 10 seconds left. Mark at 35. Big job at 38. And that does it. Big job at 38. Jess came back at 40, but we were already past the mark, so I had big job at 38. Kenny says, do you know if all U.S. had plate toppers during war? Not all of them did. Kansas obviously did in 43. We've looked at that. Some plates, some states, Kansas, one year they made a smaller plate. 44 was a smaller plate. I've seen the cardboard plates that some states used. Iowa, some of those states made, they weren't cardboard, but I can't remember what kind of a crop they used to make pressed license plates. So various things during World War II happened with license plates. So some of them were toppers, some of them were smaller plates, some of them weren't even metal. But anyway, just varied. Soybean, that's what I'm looking for, Pete. Soybean, you're exactly right. Thank you. How about some more badges? Kind of like these badges. How about some Buick stuff? Let's do some Buick stuff. This is a really cool piece. I want to get a little bit of shine to it. Had a little bit of residue on it from when I washed it. This is going to be one older one newer one. This newer one is a plastic one, but it is pretty cool. It's the big Tri-Shield Buick. This is probably within the last 20 years. But it is a cool piece. It is flat. It is plastic. It was double-sided tape. It is pretty decent sized. Zach says he liked Buicks. And this is 4 3/8 in diameter on the big plastic Tri-Shield. The next emblem is a 1955-1956 Buick Special emblem. This was a rear quarter or rear door, depending if it was a two-door. If it was a two-door, this was on the quarter. Four-door was on the rear door. This is pop metal. It is a flat mount. The studs are intact. It has a great shine to it. David ain't messing around. He's at 20, kicking us off at 20. We're not even done looking at him yet. So I've got David at 20. This special emblem is 12.5 overall length. And the circle is 2 7/8 in diameter on this circle. Pete says we got a theme tonight, blinding shine. Yeah. Mark at 35. This is on the pair. This will be a Buick badge bundle, 2 pieces, the Tri-Shield as well as the special emblem. So let's get it kicked off on the timer. We are rolling. Mark at 35. Get to work on my notes so I don't miss anything. Okay. David W. has got to wear sunglasses for the whole auction tonight. The special is 55.56, Kenny. Rusty Nails, lots of new cars use soybeans to make rubber and plastic, and the birds are eating them. I've heard that too, yeah. Keep an eye on Facebook. If anybody's bidding on Facebook, I'm not seeing any comments on there. So if you're not, I mean, I understand if you're not, I just don't want to miss anybody. I'm still watching. And 1 minute has now passed. We're on the back side of these. I've got Mark at 35 on the pair. And 1:20 has now passed. Just about that 1:30 mark. Be thinking about your max bids if you're going to jump in on these. Mark at 35. And 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. That's right, Tim. All of us nobodies are special. That's a good way to put it. 20 seconds left to go. Mark at 35. 15. 10. Coming down to the wire. Mark at 35. Zach at 39. 5 seconds left. I've got Zach at 39. We're just about done. And that does it. Zach at 39. David W. was right after that with 45, but we were at 201. Zach at 39. Okay, what else we want to do? Probably need to work in a can or so. How about another one of those GM cans? We've always talked about these. I've always been a big fan of these. Okay, Alec, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that you guys weren't trying to bid and we didn't have a feed issue on Facebook. So thanks for letting me know, Alec. These 60s and 70s era GM cans, always have liked these. We've talked about them on it before. You guys all know I'm a fan of them because that's what I grew up on. So that's Herman 63-65 tilt column for Riviera. I don't know. You have to call me tomorrow, Herman. I'll get you on my list. I've got one car that might still have a column in it. This is a standard quart can, special formula, multi-purpose rear axle gear lubricant. It is all metal can. We can see the seam over here. Special formula rear axle multi-purpose lubricant. It was punched on the bottom when it was used originally. Top is still intact. Good colors, of course, the black, red, and white with the GM in the middle of it. Kenny got one. I did have two of these, Kenny. This is the other one. So Kenny's got this one. This is the last one out of this group. I've got some other ones, but I think there was just two of these that come on this batch. So anyway, like I said, standard size quart can, 5.5 by 3 7/8 on the GM Special Formula Multi-Purpose Lubricant Rear Can. Group number and part number and everything on it, just like a regular GM part would have. So that's right. It does look like a church key punch, Mike. That's exactly what it looks like. Alec at 10 and Mark at 20 on YouTube. So Mark at 20 is my high bidder on this one. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer, get it rolling. I'm going to get my notes made. Dennis at 25 as we're ticking along on the GM court. Jeff, speaking of GM cans, have you ever seen or heard of Jet Glaze? I don't remember. Seems like I've heard of it, but I don't remember if I've got any of those cans or not. Dennis at 25 as we're coming up on the 1 minute mark, just about to the 1 minute mark. Dennis at 25. Mark at 27 as we hit the 1 minute point. Mark at 27 is my high bidder as we come up on the minute 20. Alex at 27 also, but I already had Mark at 27 on YouTube before that. So Mark at 27 as we get to the minute and a half point. We are at the minute 30 mark. Mark at 27 is my high bidder. We're past the minute 30. If you're thinking about your max bids, if you're going to jump in on this one, Mark at 27 with 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. 'And that does it. Mark at 27. So Mark got one. Okay, we haven't done any hubcaps yet tonight. We've got some super cool ones. So we're going to start off with a pair of hubcaps next. Starting off the hubcaps with a pair of caps. These are Ford caps. One from the 50s, one from the 60s. Bring on the Ford stuff before Big Job has to leave and go home. Well, I got these Ford caps and I've got a Ford can. Oh, I got another piece that you're going to want to see. Maybe we'll hold that other piece till next week if you're not going to be here, Big Job, because this is a pretty cool piece. And it kind of goes with something you've already got. So, but the Ford caps we've got next. One from the 50s with the white background. One from the 60s. The earlier one, this is a metal cap, chrome plated. Typical dings and dents, some scuffs, but really a pretty decent shine considering it's, close to 70 years old. Yeah, that's right. David W's my eyes. Back has surface rust, but it's not all rusted out or crushed. Eric's already at 25. We're just getting rolling. 10 minutes to get home. Okay, well, we'll give you a break. We'll do these, and then we'll wait a little bit before we do the other ones. Big Job. And this one is 60s. It is a stainless cap. Even the stainless has a pretty good shine. Back of it's nice and clean. This is a few dings, but overall, I mean, it's got a little dingy here, a little dingy here, but overall, not too bad. So there they are, the pair of Ford caps, Tweedledee at 30. And let's get them on the timer. I don't know if that was a Galaxy or if that was used on a full size or if that was like a Fairlane Falcon cap. So, but let me get my notes made here. Getting both caps, one bid. And everybody's just starting to post sunglass memes. Ozark Fox says 56 and 63. That would be about right. So I know that's right in that window. As we're ticking along, Jason says it looked good on his Ranger. There you go. Tweedledee at 30 is my high bidder. As we hit the 1 minute mark on these caps. Tweedledee at 30 is my high bid. We've got other bids, but Tweedledee as of right now is high. As we come up on the minute 20 mark, minute 20 has now passed. Alec at 35. I've got Alec at 35 on Facebook. And we're just about to that minute 30 point. So when we get to that minute 30 point, be thinking about your max bid. Alec at 35. I got Eric at 35 also, but I had Alec first on Facebook. So I've got Alec at 35 with 20 seconds left to go. David W. at 37. 15 seconds. Mark at 42. 10 seconds. Mark at 42 is my high bidder. Bill Disc at 52. And that does it. Bill Disc at 52 was my high bidder when we hit the 2 minute mark. Big Job came back after that too. We were too late at that point. So let's do another license plate. Big Job, got an impatient woman that has to work. Well, we'll wait for you to get home, Big Job, before we do these other Ford pieces. Let's do another license plate. We've got some super cool license plates that we're working up to tonight. This one is in really nice condition. It is a Cloud County as well. 1961 Kansas, really in great shape. White with brown letters. Really, I mean, the back of this thing is good. I mean, it's been used. You can tell it was screwed on, but not very long. Mark at 40, okay? You can see it's kind of scratched here, so it was used, but really in great shape for its age. Like I said, the back is clean. It was white with brown letters, 61, the Kansas Centennial year, and really just a nice plate. This is a standard size plate. Big Jobs to see in a little bit. Basic, 12 by 6 normal size plate on the 61 Kansas plate. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off on the timer. That's right, Mark, Centennial plate 61. It is a cool piece. Great condition. I've got Mark at 40 kicking us off. So let me get my notes made here. Kenny at 41. As we tick along, we got Kenny at 41 on the 1961 Kansas plate, the centennial year. You guys are probably getting a little dry. Better slide a few of these in there. As we come up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. We are on the backside of this one. Be thinking about your max bid if we get to that minute 30 point. Kenny at 41 is my high bidder. And a minute 20 has now passed. Kenny at 41. And we've hit the minute 30 mark. We're at a minute 30. We're coming down to the wire on this. Kenny at 41. Everybody saying hit the like button. Appreciate that. As we've got 20 seconds left to go. And Kenny, my high bidder, at 41. John at 44 with 15 seconds left to go. 10. Kenny at 46. 5 seconds left. John at 48. And that does it. John at 48. All right, let's put that down. What else do we want to do? I've got a really old kind of cool tobacco tin. I don't know if any of you guys would be interested in that or not. I threw it in the pile tonight. Mark says, sure, bring it out. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's check it out real quick. It's old, and it's pretty cool. For Little Tom Cigars. So you guys tell me what you think. If nobody likes it, we can always throw it back in the box for later. It's early. It's old. It's faded, but it's cool. Eric's kicking us off at 20. We just got started, so I guess you guys like it. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if Big Tom had cigars or not. This does open from the front like this. Mark at 25. It is a very, very narrow can. Let me give you the dimensions on it. It is it's 8 1/8 by about 5. So it's 8 1/8, 5 inches tall. Eric at 30, Brandon at 35. It's an 1 1/8 deep. 1 1/8 here. It is hinged right back there. The back, like I said, still looks pretty cool. I've got Mark at 38 at this point. And on the back in the fine print, the cigars herein contained were manufactured to retail at no more than 5 cents each and are half-cent tax paid. So right here it says these cigars were meant to retail at 5 cents a piece. So this thing's pretty early. Little Tom Cigars. I've got a Mark at 38, and let's get it on the timer on the Little Tom cigar box. It is metal, by the way. I don't know, 20s or 30s maybe. So not sure, but it's early. I don't see a year or anything on it. Factory number 471, 1st District of Pennsylvania. But not, I don't see an actual year or anything on it. Brandon at 40. Mark at 45. Like I said, this is metal. It is a needle box, needle tin. Eric at 48. Eric at 48 as we work our way up towards that 1 minute mark. On the Little Tom cigar box, 1 minute has now passed. Eric at 48 is my high bidder. Little Tom Mild Cigars. Rusty Nelson says he figured cardboard started in the 40s, and that very well could be. Does not say a product of Cuba anywhere, Ozark, so just says Pennsylvania. Minute 20 has now passed. Coming up on that minute 30 mark. Eric at 48. 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. Be thinking about your max bids depending on where your delay is at. Brandon at 50 with 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. Brandon at 50 with 10 seconds left to go. Kenny at 55, and that does it. Kenny snuck that one in right there at about 159. Kenny at 55. Jason, soybean plate started in Illinois in 43 and ended in 48. So Pete thinks it's cool. Yeah, great. Yeah, Kenny did snipe that one. It is a neat piece. Like I said, I just don't know sometimes if it's not car related, if you guys dig it, but this was such a cool piece. I thought I'd get your guys' opinion on it. Obviously, a lot of you guys thought it was cool too. So. How about some more emblems? That's right, Brandon. You got to watch them snipers. How about another badge bundle? Any Oldsmobile fans out there tonight? Do some Oldsmobile badges. 4 of them in this bundle. 4 small ones. Starting off with a little trunk lock cover. This is probably from the 80s with the rocket in it. Nice bright shine on this. This is flat mount, double-sided tape with the Olds rocket on it. Nope, no Jetfire. Still keeping my Jetfire badge. This is a little top emblem off of like an early 70s Oldsmobile. This is like off of the C-pillar. This was flat mount stud. It is metal. A little decorative piece for like, I don't know, a Regency or some sort of a fancy Oldsmobile. F85, a little F85 badge. This is pop metal. It has a few pits. It is got a slight bow to it. I don't know if it's made that way or if it's tweaked a little bit. But it is stud mount. Studs are intact on the F85. And one more rocket. This is also a trunk lock rocket off of a 70 full-size Oldsmobile. This came off of a 7098. Pretty good size rocket on this one. We'll give you some dimensions on these. 4 5/8 by 1.5 inches. So this is 4 5/8 by 1.5 inches on this bigger rocket. Rusty says looks like a headrest emblem. Now this was off of a C-pillar on the top. So if I can hold on to them. All 4 of them. These are all Oldsmobile. That's right, Mark. They make good doorbell surrounds. That's exactly. That'd be super cool to put that around your doorbell. So anyway, all 4, 1 bid. We got any Oldsmobile fans out there tonight on the Oldsmobile badge bundle? David W at 20 is kicking us off. All 4, 1 price, shipped to you. Old badge bundle. Let me get my notes caught up here. We are live. David W at 20 has kicked us off. All right. Nope, no 70 Skylark right fenders. F85 was a Cutlass Outcast. A Cutlass, the technical designation for a Cutlass is an F85. Started in '61 as a compact car with the Buick Special and the Pontiac Tempest. But the Cutlass was originally called an F85. And even if you look up information on like a 70 Cutlass, it still was classified as an F85 as far as Oldsmobile was concerned. 1 minute has now passed. David W. at 20. OEM outside mirrors. I don't think I've got any of those left either. I'd have to double check that on that Skylark stuff. Those are pretty popular pieces as well. David W. at 20. All 4 pieces, 1 shot, and 1 minute 20 has now passed. David W. going to walk out here with these for $20. That'd be a pretty good deal, especially this piece. I like this piece. This piece is really cool. 1 minute 30 has now passed. We're coming down to the end on this one. David W. at 20 on the Oldsmobile badge bundle. 20 seconds left. 20 seconds left to go. David W. at $20. 15. This might be a simple one for David. 10. 5. Mark at 24. And that does it. Mark at 24. David W. tried to come back, but it was too late. Mark at 24. Kind of get these all grouped back together here. Taped back up so they stay together. The last thing I want to do is get ready to start packaging this stuff and then not be able to find one piece of a bundle that we just sold. So Big Block 402's on with us tonight. What Skylark badges, parts might you have? I've got several 70 to 72 Skylarks and GSs. So I've got a lot of stuff for them. I just don't have any real clean right front fenders. I've got a good left, and I might have a fixable right, but nothing that's real clean and right. But I've probably got at least 6 or 8 70 to 72 Skylarks and GSs. Auburn badge. Who wants to do a valve cover? A cool valve cover. This is an iconic design. Obviously, I'm a big fan of valve covers. We've been talking about it a lot. Zach is ready to go on valve covers. I think valve covers are super cool memorabilia pieces. The designs, the thoughts, the stampings that went into valve covers, I thought were great. The Oldsmobile Rockets, the Cadillacs, everything's cool. Nope, it's not going to be a Viper valve cover, Rusty Nails. I've only got 1 extra Viper valve cover, and it's hanging on my wall. So, and obviously I can't take any off the car. That wouldn't work out too well. So, but tonight's valve cover is, that's right, IH had very good, very great designs too. Jason's guessing a 409, and Jason would be correct. It is a W-headed 348 409 valve cover. Big Job still here with us. This has some dings and dents in it. It is solid. It has the plug wire route up here. Mike's kicking us off at 15. This is an OE valve cover directly off of an engine. Like I said, it's got a few dings and dents in it. No serious damage. It's in primer right now. It will refinish. I would assume you're going to want to paint it orange like most of them were. But these are definitely a statement piece because these are definitely different. There's nothing else out there like them. Brandon at 50. It does this line is stamped in it. The bow tie is stamped in it. It is a Chevy 348 409 W head valve cover. So super cool piece. I've got Brandon at 50 on the valve cover. So let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. I love these things. I've got them in my collection. And obviously, when I found these, I figured out you guys would dig one too. So That's right. She is real fine, Brian. That is exactly right. Brian and David both for a fine 409. As we tick away, 70 Skylark GS steering wheels. There again, there's several different ones depending on year and sport wheel and things like that. I don't know what all I've got left on those either. I could, if you get me a list, then I can check my cars and see what I've got. Brazil's on with us. That's right, Mike. Mike's not a Chevy guy, but it is an iconic piece. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I've got Brandon at 50 as we hit the 1 minute mark. As we're getting close to that minute 20, the minute 20 has now passed, so be thinking about your maximum bid, because once we pass that minute 30 mark with your delay, we might be there. So, and a minute 30 has now passed. Be thinking about your max bids if you're going to jump in on this one. Brandon at 50 as of right now on the 348-409 W head valve cover with 20 seconds left to go. Brandon at 50. 15 seconds. 10. Pete at 80. And that does it. Pete at 80. Pete came in strong right there. Then Zach came in at 81 at about 203. So that I kind of thought somebody was going to have to dive in on that one, and that's Pete did it, and Pete and Zach both did it. One got in, one didn't. So it is a cool piece. They are an iconic piece, and so super cool. All right, who wants to see the heavy piece? Anybody want to see the heavy piece and see if, and it's something a little bit different. We've never done anything like it, but it's kind of cool. So I found a couple of them at the swap meet, so I thought I would throw one up here. See if I can get it hoisted up. It's not super heavy, but it's a lot heavier and bigger than what we normally have. All right. This thing weighs 15 pounds. I did weigh it. Shipping on this will be $25 residential, $20 commercial. The shipping situation is getting out of hand, and they can get away with it, and they know it, and fuel is high. So shipping is getting expensive. Commercial rates are always cheaper. So I'm going to have to start getting to the point where if you can give me a commercial address, it's going to save you some money on shipping. And since this thing weighs 15 pounds, it's going to take a little bit to ship it. So $25 shipping residential, $20 shipping commercial on this piece if we decide to sell it. You guys may not like it. You guys may not think they're cool. I kind of like them. I think they're kind of neat. They are definitely part of the automotive world. They were commonplace in many areas, and that is your parking meter. Who remembers these? Coin slot. Jason says he's got one in his collection. Drive carefully, save a life. Randy at 25. It is a pretty cool piece. I do not have a key to it. Shoot, maybe there's money in it. Who knows? No idea if it works. Still have some in use similar to this downtown Lawrence. Most of them you see now are electronic. I don't know if there's money in it or not, but I don't have a key. So if anybody can get the key, they might have a surprise. Eric at 30. Instructions: insert coin, incorrect slot, turn handle as far as possible after each coin. Warning: anyone misusing or tampering with this meter is subject to arrest. Randy at 40. Just saw a parking meter restoration video, next gas pump in terms of collectability. That could be. I don't know what year this is. I'm going to guess 70s maybe. Well, or 60s. Oh. 1 cent, 5 cent, and 10 cent. So it took pennies, nickels, and dimes. So it wasn't even set up for quarters. So it isn't that new. Nate got one at the swap meet as well. Let's see. Is there anything I don't have? Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of I don't have. That's right, Rush Nails. I might be in trouble for possessing it. Who knows? Sebastian's on with us. I don't think they changed much except for the price. Yeah, and that's right. With no quarters, it's got to be. I'm guessing probably 60s. But Michael's got one, and he worked for the TPW, so kind of a neat piece, something kind of different. David W. at 45. Like I said, 20 to 25 bucks shipping, depending on whether you're commercial or not. It's going to make a difference. I'm going to start doing them that way. Randy at 50 on the parking meter. Let's get this thing ticking along here on the timer. We are live. I got it balanced on the desk here, so I don't have to hold it. So I can make my notes. Randy at 50 is my high bidder. We are ticking away. We are live on the timer right now on the parking meter. Gotta lean it against me. There we go. It's kind of cool. I always thought, when you're a kid, it's always cool to flip it. But Kenny, I passed on a coin toll collector from a bus 2 weeks ago. So something kind of different. Like I said, we haven't done one of those before. Leo says, fix it and put it up in a fake place and collect everybody's, pennies, dimes, and nickels. That's all you can. That's all it would take. So, and 1 minute has now passed. We are on the backside on the parking meter. I've got Randy at 50 as my high bidder. Duncan Miller meter, manufactured by Duncan Parking Meter Company, Chicago, Illinois. And 1:20 has now passed. So we're getting close to that 1:30 mark. If you're going to jump in on this one, I've got Randy at 50. Did they light up at all? I don't think these did. I think these were probably so early that they probably didn't. 20 seconds left to go. Randy at 50. 15 seconds. Randy at 50 is my high bidder. 10 seconds left to go. Zach at 61, and that does it. David W. There again, David W. came in just a hair late, but I had Zach at 61 right at the end of that one. Big Job came in after that too. So, yeah, Jeff, I do have 1 or 2 of these. So, Zach at 61 was who was at 2 minutes. That's who we had. So we had some other ones, but that was who we had at 2. So let me get this heavy thing out of the way. I got a Ford can I've been needing to sell. Big Job's on with us, so we're going to sell this Ford can. Zach's just going to put it up in his driveway and charge everybody that shows up. This Ford can, it's been in for a couple weeks, and it's big, so it's a gallon, so it's pushed off the back, and I've never grabbed it. It is new. Ford tractor hydraulic oil. Great can, great graphics. Even still has the tag, part of the tag on the handle. for the Ford hydraulic oil. Great colors on this thing. It is new. It is full, so I'm going to have to drain it for sure. 1 U.S. gallon. It's got some scratching on this side over here, but great colors on this thing. Jeff Taylor at 15 starting us off, but you can see the gears and stuff in here. Just a really cool piece. Top still clean, intact. Bottom same way. Using in the plane. There you go. On the Ford hydraulic oil can. Jeff Taylor at 15. And let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. This is a square gallon can or rectangle gallon can. Kind of a standard size gallon can. I don't think it's a GM part number on a Ford can. So 9 3/8 by 6.5. So basically regular gallon metal can. This is all metal too, by the way. Big block 402 at 25. No barcodes on this anywhere that I can see. Jeff Taylor at 26. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. Gotta sit it down so I can write it up. Yeah, it is a clean can. There's no doubt about that. Big Job uses a 5-gallon one like it for a trash can in his office. I don't think it's drinkable. I know it's heavy because it's still full, but I'll have to drain that out. You definitely couldn't ship this thing. It cost a fortune. It is a little different, Leo, that's for sure. As we are coming up on the 1 minute mark, Jeff Taylor at 26. 1 minute has now passed, so be thinking about this one. Because this is a cool piece. It's in great condition. It has great colors. It has great graphics. It checks all the boxes, especially if you're a Ford guy. And a minute 20 has passed. We're going to come up on that minute 30 here pretty quick and then be thinking about your max bid. I can't see this selling for $26, but it might. Jeff may get a smoking deal on this thing, but it is a great can. Minute 30 has passed. Be thinking about your max bids depending on what your delay is. Jeff Taylor at 26. 20 seconds left to go. 15. David W. at 28. 10 seconds left. Mark at 30. Just about done. Mark at 30 is my high bidder. Tweedly D at 35. And that does it. Tweedly D at 35. How about we do another license plate? How about I do another Hudson badge? This one is not Kansas. Yeah, I need to lube the chair up with some of it. This is a 1956 California plate. Once again, in great condition. It had stickers on it up until 61. Check this thing out. This is cool. So I don't know if you guys like California plates, but that's the only I've got in here tonight that's not Kansas. So this thing is a standard size plate, basically 12 by 6. David W. starting us off at 20. It is a 12 by 6 standard plate. 56 over here, obviously had stickers up to 1961. Yellow, black numbers on this California plate. Randy at 25. Backside of this is pretty clean as well. So obviously it was used, but doesn't look like it was ever used super too hard. So Eloy at 30 on the 56 California plate. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. We are rolling. Eloy at 35 is my high bidder as we go live on the timer. TCG 829. This does have some stickers under the 61, so they must have just, I don't know when California started using stickers, but that's up to 61. There are several of them stacked on there. So Jess at 35 on the California plate. I said the back just looks amazing too, so I don't think it led too hard of a life. Dan at 40. Dan at 40 is our high bidder as we're working our way up towards the 1 minute mark on the plate. 1 minute has now passed. Jess is back in at 45. Big Job at 75. Big Job's not messing around. We're getting pretty serious about this. Was the story on California black plates? That I don't know. I think you can re-register them in California if they're clean. A minute 20 has passed. Be thinking about your max bids. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think people just like them because it's just the car culture so popular out there. A minute 30 has now passed. I've got Big Job at 75. 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. David W. at 80. And that does it. David W. at 80. Kenny tried to come back, but it was just a few seconds too late. So David W. at 80. We got a couple more super cool plates too coming up. They're Kansas, but they're super cool. How about some more badges? We haven't done a badge bundle in a little bit. How about a couple of emblems? John made it tonight. How about a pair of Chevy badges? The old C10, late 60s, early 70s C10. There again, nice chrome. This thing's got a heck of a shine to it. These are flat stud mount, pop metal. 7 inches long by about 1.25 inches high on the C10. The next one is a mid-60s little flat-faced Chevy van emblem. The tip of the end is broke off on this van. Any AMC stuff? We don't have any AMC stuff tonight at all. Big Block 402. David W.'s got a Bruno plate frame for it too. So this Chevy van, this is a pop metal emblem as well. Flat mount with studs. Just the tip of the end is broke off. The chrome still looks great on it. I assume this back area would have been painted black, but definitely a nice shine on the Chevy van emblem as well. So both of these going, it's a Chevy VAR. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Anything that's AMC, Addy has to approve whether we can sell it or not. So Gasher 61's got to bail off. Well, I'm glad you're here for a while. On the Chevy van and truck emblem. I need to give you dimensions on the van, or the VAR, yeah. It is 9 inches, and the V is 2 5/8. So this is 9 by 2 5/8 at the V. So anyway, there we go on the pair. Anybody interested in the Chevy VAR and the C10? Tim says the boss has spoken. I guess that means he's done. So anyway, we can trunk emblem for a 65 Ambassador. I don't think I've got any 65 Ambassadors. Jody's going to start us off at 10 on the pair. Let's go ahead and throw these things on the timer and get them going. kind of different. This is like a 65 or 66. You don't see these very often on these little flat-faced vans. Zach thinks, I think, beginning to think Addie runs a show behind the scenes. Yeah, she definitely has a say in a lot of the memorabilia stuff. That's for sure. But we are taking away up Jody at 10 on the pair of emblems. Uh-oh, Big Job just gave away a secret. Is that his feed is quick tonight. So you guys better be watching out for Big Job. Jody at 10. Nobody else is jumping in on these as we hit the minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. We'll be thinking about what we got to do next here. Johnny Z at 15 as we hit the minute 20 mark. And a minute 30 has passed. So if you're going to jump in on these, now's the time to think about your max bid depending on where your delay is at. $20 seconds left. 15. Johnny Z at 15. No signs tonight, Highlander. 10 seconds left to go. Mark at 20. Zach at 21, and that does it. Both you guys were in the last 7 seconds. That was, and then Johnny Z's back at 22, but we were already done. Zach at 21. I thought about grab bags number 1, but that's all I've had time to do. I thought about it today, and it just there again, just haven't had time to actually do anything with it. But yeah, I haven't forgot about it. It's just, I was at Swap Meet Friday, auction Saturday, and just time is the kicker on a lot of that stuff. So. Who wants to do a super cool cap? Super cool cap. This has got dings and dents. It's got some thin spots in the chrome, so it's not quite as bright. So maybe you guys could be okay without sunglasses for this one. But this is cool. What's everybody think of that one? I thought this was great. Hudson Terraplane. Dings, dents, some thin spots in the chrome, things like that. Jason's at 25 right out of the gate. It's kind of a weird back the way. Yes, there's 2 of them. Eric at 30. This is cool. This is super cool. It's got the small part here, which was in the center of the wheel, so it's a little bit different on the back. It is 8 3/4 in diameter. Yeah, I figured that there better be 2 of these if I'm selling one. So yes, there are 2. One for us. He thought of it super cool radiator cap. No, super cool hubcap for a Hudson Terraplane. I think this is probably late 30s is what this would be. Eric at 40 is my high bidder. Let's get this thing kicked off. Jason at 45. Let's get this thing on the timer. Ozark Fox getting thirsty. We're on the timer. We better give you another one of those badges as well to think about it. Eric at 50. Zach at 70. Zach at 70 as we tick along on the super cool Terraplane cap. Yeah, that's right, number one. I don't know if this was like a wire cap or a wood, but it is smaller. You know, that inside diameter is small. It's only about 5 inches ID. ID on it's only 5 inches. So, but it is cool. I mean, it's just there again. You know, I doubt it's going to go on a car, but it is a great wall hanger. 1 minute has now passed. I've got Zach at 70. Jason's on a fridge run. I better help you out with that. Minute 20 has now passed. And a minute 30 has passed. Time to be thinking about your max bid. Zach at 70. $20 seconds left. Zach at 70 on the Terraplane cap. 15 seconds left to go. 10. And that does it. Zach ran everybody else off. But it is super cool. It's well worth it. So it's an awesome piece. What else we got? Just put Addie in charge of the mystery bags and grab bags. Yeah, it is cool, Zach. I mean, it's a great piece. What else we got? We got emblems, license plates. Yeah, we got a couple cool license plates coming up. Let's get I got an emblem here that I'm kind of on the fence about. But it's so great. I want to throw it up there and see what you think. It actually goes with a piece that Big Job got a while back. I'm still on the fence about this thing as to what I should do with it, whether I should keep it or whether I should sell it. But I think we'll throw it up there, and if it brings $75, I'll sell it. So I'm gonna tell you that right now. So there it is. If it brings $75, I have to sell it. If it doesn't, I get to keep it. That's a good plan. Except for the fact that somebody might bid $75 or more, then I got to sell it. But anyway, this is, if you remember a while back, Big Job got a super cool 1956 Mercury hood ornament that went up on top. This is the front hood badge off of a 56 Mercury. There again, we may need sunglasses. Well, that didn't take long. Eric's already in at the 75. We ain't even look. Everybody's in at 75. We haven't even started looking at it yet. I guess that'll teach me. This is 16 and a half. And it is about 3 inches tall. Charles at 80. It's about 3 inches tall, 16 and a half long. It's got a slight bow to it because it went on the front of the hood. Brandon's going to have trouble bidding because he's now blind as well. It could be a weapon mark. That is true. Beautiful chrome on this thing. The Mercury Man head is awesome. Eric at 85. It is a statement piece. Now you can see why I was on the fence about doing something with it. Big Job at 100. But I guess I got to sell it now. I opened my big mouth, so we'll kick it off. We're on the timer. We're rolling. Let me get my notes made. And we're rolling. Oh, what else do we want to do here? Let's see. Big job at 100. Jason wants to trade his kids in. Number one says minus the Mercury head and the gold triangle. That was a Meteor logo in Canada. Flip it over and it's a W. That's right. Kenny says he's wearing his welding helmet, so he's good. 1 minute has now passed. And I've got big job at 100. A minute 20 has passed. Yeah, that will teach me to open my mouth on something too cool. Coming up on the minute 30 mark. And a minute 30 has now passed. Big job at 100. $20 seconds left. $10 seconds left to go. Big job at 100. Charles at 101. And that does it. Oh, man. Holy cow. He snuck that in right at the end. Charles slid in right at the end on that one. Okay. Let's do a couple more cans, couple more license plates, and one more badge bundle, and we're going to be adding. We'll get on to the magazine. So, like I told you, I got some cool plates coming up. And let's go ahead and do these. Let's do a pair of plates. How about that? How about we do a pair of plates? There's a reason we're going to do a pair of plates. These are Kansas, 1935. County 41, plate 1714. David W's getting a little thirsty. We better slide one of those in there. The next plate that goes with this plate, since we're going to do two of them, we're going to sell a set of plates, is also a Kansas 35 1714. Big block 402s at $20 right out of the gate. Tweedledee at 30. Yes. This is a matched set. Still together after almost 90 years. 1935 Kansas plates. Eric is at 50 on them. They're in pretty decent shape. This one is a little bit better. This one has a little more aging to it. Mark at 60. Has Kansas always had front and rear plates? They have not. They haven't for a long time. I never remember Kansas requiring both. So this is early. Lots of bids coming in here. Mark at 60 is my high bidder. But we can look and see. You can see the slight differences in condition. This one's faded a little more. This one has a little bit better color. They both have a few dings and dents, but overall they're not bad. Backs of them both look pretty decent considering they're almost 90 years old. No, they're both legitimate. Original Kansas 35 plates. Kenny at 61. But like I said, they've been together this long. I don't see any point in separating them. I think they need to stay together. Mark at 65. Dickinson County is what Mike says. He thinks Dickinson County was 41. I'm not sure. I know Barton's 33. These are black and orange. It's kind of an orangish color, not really a yellow on these. Eric at 70. Let's get these things on the timer. Let me get my notes made. And we're ticking along. Should have saved them for the Halloween episode since they're black and orange. Yep, that's true. The pair going together. Mark at 72. Keeping them together after all these years. We just as well. That's right. You know, with a little polishing and some oil and stuff, you could probably pull some of the color back out of these. Addie said Tom's website says 41 is Clay County. So, like I said, I don't know the numbers other than Barton's 33. That's the only one I remember. That's the only one I worry about. So, Mark at 72 on the pair. 2-for-1 money. Match set from 1935. As we pass the 1 minute mark on these plates. They belong on a 35-40. Minute 20 has now passed. Coming up on that minute 30 mark, I've got Mark at 72 on the pair. It's cool that after all these years, they're still together. We need to keep them together, so that's why we're doing them this way. A minute 30 has passed. We're running towards the end of this. Depending on your delay, be thinking about where you want to be on these. Mark at 72. A lot of action on these things, so 20 seconds left to go. Be watching for the snipers. Mark at 72. 15 seconds left. $100. If I was going to lose big, says Big Job with 5 seconds left to go. I get Big Job at 100. And that did it this time. Big Job threw 100 out there. Ooh. And you another couple of seconds and that 100 wouldn't have done it because John was at 101. David was at 100. So that did it this time, Big Job. And they are great. It's cool to see a set after all these years still together and still staying together. So, all right. We haven't done many cans tonight. Let's squeeze in a pair of cans, a can bundle, one more badge bundle, one more license plate. And then we're going to get on to the magazine. But we got some cool stuff tonight. We're having a lot of fun. So this pair of cans, these are cardboard cans. So they are, later cans. There's no barcode on either one of them. So they're probably 70s. They're both from the Derby Oil Company. This pair of cans, like I said, I think these are 70s. They are composite cans. Derby Superflex Motor Oil. This one has some scuffing on it. White can with gold, red, and blue lettering. This is new. I will drain it. But it does have Derby Refining Company on the top as well. The bottom looks clean. Yeah, Norma said she'd be back once she gets to feeling better. So just has the scuffing right there on the F on the Superflex motor oil. The next one, also a Derby can, All Season Ultra Life Motor Oil 10W40. This is a blue can with the gold, white, and red lettering against the blue background. Also new, sealed. I will have to drain it from the bottom. A Supreme Long Distance Motor Oil for Turnpike Driving. Exceeds car manufacturer's warranty requirements. So, a guaranteed product manufactured for Derby Refining Company, Wichita, Kansas. So, it is a good-looking pair. It is the pair. They are going one price, one bid. You get them both. 39 Ford with the oval grill. I've got a lot of 38, 39 Ford trucks in the yard. I don't really have much left for grills, but Mark is at 25. One thing I had not noticed on here, this gives this Superflex motor oil. It gives us comparable numbers for Cummins, Mack, Cat, IH, Allison, Detroit, GM, and Ford part numbers on the top. So that's pretty cool too. Mark at 30 on the pair. These are both going one money, good looking cans, good color. on the pair. Dennis at 35. Let's get these things live so we can get ticking along. I'm going to get my notes made. Dennis at 45 is my high bidder on the pair. Mark at 50. Great colors on these things. They really pop. Kansas cans. And like we talk about, these composite cans, they don't last. If they're not stored properly, if these are sitting exposed at all, they just fall apart. So I really think some of these composite cans are going to be tough to find in the future because they just, if they sit around and they're not stored right, they get in any sort of weather, moisture, any sort of exposure, and they will just fall apart. So Mark at 50 as we pass the 1 minute mark. And a minute 20 has now passed. And a minute 30. We have hit the minute 30 mark. Mark at 50 on the Derby cans. 20 seconds left to go. 15. Any orphan badges? Not tonight. Don't have any orphan badges left tonight. I got one more badge at Chevrolet. 10 seconds left to go. Mark at 50. And he gets it for that. Mark at 50 on the pair. That's right, Ozark Fox. In 50 years, we'll be selling plastic bottles. All right, let's get a couple more things tonight, and then we're going to keep moving. One more badge bundle, one more license plate, and then we'll save the rest of this for next time. Chevrolet badge bundle this time. 2 badges, but they're both really cool. If I can get them to tape apart. The first badge, I think we've done some of these before, is like a 1955, 1956 Bel Air badge. Big Job had to get bandages. He's been sliced so much. This is a really nice badge. Bright, brilliant chrome. It's not busted up. I think it's missing a couple of studs, but most of the studs are there. But a really good looking Bel Air badge there from the mid-50s. The next one, we're going to jump up a few years to a Camaro Z28. This is an original fender badge for a Z28. Probably first gen 67, 68. Has a slight curvature to it. It is stud mount. It is metal. And it is the pair going. So, yeah, more sunglasses alert. Yep. So a pair of Chevy badges, the Bel Air and the Z28. Eric's kicking us off at 25. Yep, be cool if we had the car under them. That's right, Leo. Both of them the same money. Let's kick this thing off on the timer and get it rolling. Eric at 25. Mark at 40. That's right, number one. We need to get a first aid kit to sell for Big Job tonight. Brandon at 50 on the pair. Mark at 55. as we're getting close to that 1 minute mark. Mark at 55 as we're getting ready to cross the 1 minute barrier and into the backside of these. 1 minute has now passed. Yeah, John, my phone's been going off, but I'm just trying to watch the timer, so I haven't paid any attention to them. So, but yeah, I think I got something. So, Mark at 55. Yeah, I don't know, Leo. I don't know if we got a sniper out there or not because everybody's just kind of laying cool now since we hit that 1 minute mark. Now we've hit a minute 20, almost to that minute 30 mark. And 1 minute 30 seconds has passed. How about an Auburn badge right there in the middle of that as we're getting going here? Old School's here with us. Eric's at 56 on him. 20 seconds left to go. Mark at 58. 15 seconds. Brandon at 60 with 10 seconds left to go. Mark at 61. 5 seconds. We're about down to the end. And he got it. Mark got it with the 61. That was all it took. Just barely, because they were coming in after that, going after him. But when we hit the 2 minute mark, Mark at 61 is what we had. All right, let's do one more license plate, and then let's get to the magazine. And then we'll shove the rest of this off for next week. X-rays on. Zach's got to jump off. You might not want to do it yet, Zach. We got one more license plate. You're probably going to want to see it. Mark says he is officially now in the doghouse. And well, we'll have another Hudson badge anyway then. Last item for tonight, and this is a great license plate, and we're going to back up over 90 years. No problem, X-ray. Give me a shot tomorrow. We'll get it figured out. We're going back over 90 years on this 1930 Kansas license plate. Also a County 41, number 46, very low number. This is a little bit, that's right, Zach, you're figuring out. Eric's at 50, we just popped it up there. This is a little bit rough. It's kind of, this hole is torn a little bit. It's dented a little bit up here, but hey, it's 92 years old. I mean, if I look this good at 92, I'm going to take it. I'm going to call that a win. So low number plate, back doesn't look too bad. 1930. This is not a long, narrow, skinny plate. This is almost kind of a standard size plate like we're used to. It is 12 by 5 3/8. So it's a little bit narrow here. It's 5 3/8. It's not quite 6. Marcus says he's done, but it is 12. Eric's kicking us off at 50 on the 1930 Kansas license plate. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer so we can keep moving and get to the magazine. And a very low number, which is pretty cool. Uh, 46 plate, yep. I'm not sure what the C stands for on this one. I've got Eric at $50. I don't know if that's it or if there's been a lot of comments. I'm wondering if everybody's just kind of sitting there waiting to hit send here in about 45 seconds because we're just about to the 1 minute mark on the 1930 plate. As we pass 1 minute, we're on the backside of this. Nobody's bidding other than Eric, so I'm wondering if there's going to be any snipers on this one. Eric at 50, and everybody's just kind of sitting and being chill. Sometimes the item stuns people for a minute. Brandon's got to jump off. Glad you made it for a while, Brandon. A minute 20 has now passed. A minute 30. We are at towards the end. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. $50 is the bid. Eric at 50. 20 seconds left. 15. 10. Is that it? He's going to walk out. No, it's Jeff at 51. Kenny at 55. Lee at 60. And that does it. Lee at 60. And there's a whole bunch more still coming in, but it was Lee at 60 when we hit the 2-minute mark, and that's the only way I can do it and be fair about it. So Lee at 60. Yep, they were pouring in there at the end. And that's kind of what I thought was going to happen, the way everybody was kind of sitting there. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with you guys, and it's always a good time. Thanks for participating and having a great time with us tonight. All right, we need to keep moving on to the magazine. Finish up this Motor Trend from last week, talk a little bit about trivia, or play a little trivia, talk about the raffle, and keep things moving. So, that's right, it's always a good time. You guys are a lot of fun. Let's all have a drink or 3 to go with it. That's right, everyone, and now it's time for the rest of the magazine. And glad you guys had a great time. Lots of comments about good auctions. That's always fun. That's awesome. That's great. Let's keep moving. We're back to Motor Trend, October of 1975 from last week with the Chevette on the cover with a $1 cover price. John's still crying. Now, we're going to start in the middle. Obviously, we've been splitting these magazines up so we can spend a little more time with them, get a little more information out of them. That's been working out great, and had a lot of fun with it. So we're starting off on page 51 in this issue, and we're going to start off with a big article. Mark got a Chevette emblem. That's right. The 76 Detroit previews General Motors, the shrink is on, is the headline for this article. And there are several pages in here on all the GM products. We're going to definitely try to look at as much of it as we can. Now, like I said, there are several pages of this. We're going to try to squeeze as much of it in as we can. Tim's got to jump off. Glad you made it tonight. But starting off with Cadillac. The Coupe de Ville, and this is it, folks. The last one. The final mass-produced convertible in the United States. The Eldorado, and this is its last year. The only changes are the new grille taillights and black center hubcaps. Here's another one, special interest car fans, and a lot of these did get picked up and saved over the years. And great picture of the Cadillac line, including the last of the big convertibles, the Eldorado. Dad has one of these, dark blue 76 Eldorado convertible. Beautiful car. I love that car. It's just so 70s. And, I mean, you need to wear a feather cap when you're driving it almost. But it is so cool. It is so big. And it is a deep dark blue with light blue interior. Dad's is on his 76 Eldorado convertible. But super excited. I always love to see those things. I love those big 70s GM cars. And the Eldorado convertible was kind of, the king, so to speak, of that era. So I was pretty excited when Dad bought that car. Oh, another side note, speaking of license plates as well. The license plate on it was my grandpa's license plate, his dad's, from 76. So it's kind of cool because my grandpa was a big Cadillac fan, and Dad still had his license plate, so he put it on the 76 Eldorado convertible. So that was pretty cool too. Chevrolet. Actually, we got the Seville as well. On the next page, we've got the Cadillac Seville, the small Seville, and we've got the Monte Carlo on the next page. That's right, Kenny. Where's Huggy Bear? That's definitely, John. Those Cadillacs are 70s. There's no doubt about it. That's right, Shopcat. That is what the ladies' man drove. The Monte Carlo gets stacked headlights. The 454 bites the dust. The largest available engine is the 400 4-barrel. Something that I don't ever really remember seeing, though, on any of these Monte Carlos is two-tone paint. I don't remember seeing a production Monte Carlo with the sides area painted two-tone like that. Anybody else ever see one of those? I don't ever remember seeing that. Could just be a prototype deal they killed and never made it to production, but Mark said he has seen one, so. And more Chevrolets on the next page. Of course, the cover car, the Chevette, the Vega, the Chevelle Malibu, the Nova, the Corvette, the Camaro, and the Caprice. All lined out. There again, very little color in this magazine. Still primarily black and white. Big Job said he's seen one and thought somebody modified it. So, yeah, I don't remember ever seeing one two-toned like that, but apparently it was available. That's what Clint says. Same thing. He'd seen one but thought it was a custom job. Well, this was all pre-production stuff, so I assume for a while at least it was available. As we get into the Buicks, Olds, and Pontiac, some pretty cool stuff in Buick in 76 that really is kind of forgotten about. The little Skyhawk, as well as the Regal Century platform, which I believe 75 was the pace car on the Regal, and this car even has T-tops as well as the little Skyhawk with a sunroof and a 5-speed with a V6. So kind of some pretty cool Buicks that they had in that window as well. And then to cover the rest of the Buick line, the little Skylarks, the Riviera, as well as the Century 4-door, and, of course, the iconic Deuce and a Quarter. The big Electra 225 at the bottom. We got a heck of a glare going on there with the lights, it looks like. But all kinds of cool Buicks. Cigarette ads are cool, too. Yeah, we try to catch some of those when we do the ads. Robert, how many early 55 step side pickups versus late step side? I really don't know what the production was on the two different versions of 55 Chevy trucks, Robert. I really don't know for sure. Oldsmobile. The second best-selling domestic range of cars in the nation. Kind of crazy to think about. By when was it, 02 or whatever, Oldsmobile was gone, and in 76 they were the second best-selling domestic range of cars in the nation. The Oldsmobile Cutlass. So the Cutlass S and the Cutlass Supreme both used a completely different nose. Obviously, they made 87 gajillion 76 and 77 Cutlass Supremes. Number one, those cars were first introduced to dealers who would have ordered a certain amount to get the two-tone, but it was a first-year option for that model. So, yeah, they made a lot of two-tone Chevrolets. I just never remember seeing it on that Monte Carlo. You bet, Robert, on Facebook, no problem. I just don't know for sure on that. So that's right, John. 70s was all about luxury. And, of course, Pontiac. Finishing up Oldsmobile and then getting into Pontiac. Jeff, Indy Pace Car, 75, 76, and 81. 81 or 82. If it was the first Grand National, I don't remember. That's right, Throwing Sparks. Those Cutlasses were everywhere. But to finish up, Oldsmobile, of course, the Tornado and the full size, and then we get into Pontiac. There again, all these pictures, all black and white, all pretty small, trying to squeeze all these new lines in, or the new models in for this year. Obviously, the Firebird looks a little funny. It's a Formula with a dual scope Formula hood. The Tornado, the big Oldsmobile, the Grand Prix, super popular car, the Sunbird. David W. Recycled Studebaker named the Skyhawk. Yeah. And more Pontiacs. The full-size Le Mans, the Aster, as well as the Catalina. These Le Manses were really good-looking cars, something you don't see very often. Obviously, we see some Grand Ams, we see some Can-Ams, you see some 73 GTOs on that platform. But these 76, 77 Le Manses, hardly ever see them, but those were really nice cars as well. I told you this first article was a biggie. There was a lot to that one. But we'll move on forward. There were so many cool pictures in there that I didn't want to, to not give you a chance to show them all to you. This next article is kind of weird. I didn't even realize they did this. On the Oldsmobile Starfire, which is the Monza Skyhawk platform. Pontiac front was a NASCAR design. Big job. I think everyone knew someone who drove them. Yep. Yeah, Pete liked the Le Manses as well. Oldsmobile Starfire, the little small compact Starfire. This article kind of caught my eye because it said road test, Oldsmobile Starfire, stock versus racing. I didn't know they made a racing Starfire, but there it is. Somebody looks like they're road racing a Starfire, a little Oldsmobile Starfire. So, what did it say about them? The Oldsmobile Starfire GT versus the Oldsmobile Starfire race car. Both V6s, both 231 V6s with 4-speed manual. The stock 231 was 110 horsepower. They did not list horsepower ratings for the race car. I don't know if this was a factory deal or what, but it must be a aftermarket type modification. The car is actually aged. But it is kind of, like I said, I didn't know they ever really made a Starfire race car. Compression on the stock V6 231 was 8-1. The racing 231 was 11-1. They were both 2-barrel carburetors. They were both 4 speeds. The street car had a 256 rear. The race car had a 373 rear. But, really the whole thing was still a V6 4-speed Starfire. So that was kind of odd. The quarter mile for the production car was 1871. The quarter mile for the race car was 1565. So they still were not a rocket ship by any means. 0 to 60 was 13.2 in the stock car, 6.97 in the race car. So pretty big difference there. Has a few pictures of it and actually shows the inside of the race car and an underhood shot of each of them. So we'll study these here for a few seconds and check them out. But like I said, never really was aware that they made a Starfire race car, but there it is. But that's what's great about doing these old magazines. We all learn stuff that I didn't know, you didn't know, and then we all share our knowledge, and we all learn even more because of that. How about some L&M smokes? More useless trivia says number one, the Starfires and the Monzas had an incredibly low drag coefficient that GM banked on making big a mile per gallon beater, but nobody could drive them. They couldn't run 80 mile an hour down the road. So John's having a great time with the magazine with us as well. The next one, this was kind of different. Another performance test, driving impressions of the Capri 2 and the Chevrolet Cosworth Vega. So the Capri 2, kind of a, Ford's version of a, import fighter. I guess it was kind of an import in itself. But comparing it to a Cosworth Vega. It had some cool action shots of them on the track. That's right, Throwing Sparks. Kenny Bell did a ton of 231 stuff. That's right, Pete. The articles are not in color, but the cigarette ads are. That's exactly right. And I think they all are. We'll catch a few of them when we go through the ads. But engine, the Cosworth Vega was an inline 4-cylinder with 110 horse. The Capri 2 was a V6 with 109 horse. 8.5 to 1 compression versus 8.7 to 1 compression. The Cosworth Vega was fuel injected. The Capri had a 2-barrel on it, both 4-speed manuals. So kind of odd there again. They're trying to look at performance in a small package that still had the possibility to get some fuel mileage. X-Ray remembers the article. But we'll check out some more black and white pictures of the interior shot, the engine shot, and the back seat area on both these cars. So there again, this point in time, all of this stuff, nobody really knew what they were doing. They were trying to come up with stuff that was going to be economical. They were trying to come up with stuff that was still going to be fun to drive. They were trying to come up with packages like the Cosworth. It had sticker packages. It had wheels. It had a little bit of a hopped up 4-cylinder in it. Something that, there again, they were trying to throw stuff at the wall and see what would stick. The Cosworth Vega didn't stick. But it is an interesting car. And just like John just said, it's crazy how many cars you forgot about and now want, And that's the great part about doing these magazines. We're going back in time. We're studying this stuff, and we're all sometimes relearning some of this stuff. But that's what these were. This was throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what would stick. Performance-wise, mile per gallon, or fuel economy-wise, looks-wise, performance-wise, whatever they could do to try to get something that the American public was going to buy. All the American car manufacturers up until the early 70s had built 2 cars. Full-size cars, and then when they started making the intermediates and found a big motor in a muscle car. So their intermediates almost got overshadowed by the muscle car era, and in the 70s, they were just trying to figure something out. Then throwing sparks, the Cosworth fuel injection was a nightmare. I've heard that. So Rusty said it'd be a good one to have today too. The one more article we're going to check out real quick, and then we're going to get to some ads. Plus, we've even got a few classifieds in here. The price of economy. Ford supplies 3 answers with the Pinto, the Bobcat, and the Mustang MPG models. Once again, all black and white, but we're going to get a little information on these. We're going to show you the first picture of all 3 of them, plus an interior shot, of course, all in black and white. The Mustang 2, the Pinto, and the Bobcat. All basically the same thing. And then we're going to give you some of the specs on it off the spec chart on the next page. So we've got a spec chart here that we're going to look at along with a few more black and white pictures. We'll see what it says here in the specs. Once again, the cigarette ad in full color, the Pintos in black and white. Pinto blow up. Yeah, actually, these by 76, they had that figured out. The earlier ones did blow up, but I think by 76, they had that problem remedied in a rear-end collision. Big Block had an 81 Capri. Number one, they were building cars to appeal to a lot of different groups in different ways because the car was under attack in big cities. And that's true too. So that's a lot of different stuff. There again, they were just trying a lot of different stuff. On the Ford mile per gallon boosters, the price of economy, all inline 4-cylinders, all the same thing, actually. Like I said, we just talked about, these are all basically the same thing. Inline 4-cylinder, 140 cubic inch, 83 horsepower, 8.4 to 1 compression. The only difference is the Mustang 2 had an automatic. The Pinto and the Bobcat had manuals. But other than that, they're essentially the same thing. Now, one big difference, though, was the manual transmission. They only got 23.5 mile per gallon out of the Mustang 2 with the automatic. The Pinto and the Bobcat, which, the same engine, different transmission and slightly different gearing. And in fact, the Mustang 2 with an automatic had 318s. The Pinto with a 4-speed had 340s. And the Bobcat with a 4-speed had 318 gears as well. Jeff, Chevrolet advertised the Cosworth as 1 Vega for the price of 2. That's right. Gas prices were going up just like today. Where's the Stang now? It's a dream setup. Pinto's got sacrificed for rack. That's right. They did pull the front suspensions out of the racks and disc brakes for race cars for years out of Pintos. But the with the different gear ratios and the different transmissions, the Mustang 2 with the automatic and the 318 gears got 23.5 miles a gallon. The Pinto with the 4-speed manual and the 340 gears got 28 miles a gallon. The Bobcat with the 4-speed and the 318 gears with a higher gear ratio got 29.7. And obviously that's what they were going at in this road test. That was the entire purpose of it, was to see what you could do for fuel economy in that time. Ozark Fox had an 80 Pinto pony and couldn't kill it. That's right, Mark. We're definitely dealing with inflation now on top of the gas prices. So, but anyway, that pretty much wraps us up for articles in this October of 75 Motor Trend. But let's get to some ads. Ads are always great. And most of them are full color. That's the crazy part about it. That's right, Tweedledee. And now we have EVs blowing up when they flood. How about Pennzoil? One for every car. Pennzoil motor oils protect all kinds of cars in all kinds of weather. Bright, big color ad of the iconic yellow Pennzoil can from the 70s. Everybody knew what a Pennzoil can was. They were always that color with the bell on them. Unmistakable in this world to not recognize the Pennzoil can. Here's kind of a funky one from the 70s. Canadian Club. Who remembers desert sailing? I don't. The trick of desert sailing on the Baja's now white sand is not end up black and blue. The difference between this ship of the desert and the kind you'll find in caravans is that you can whip along at speeds of up to 60 miles an hour, and that's where the danger lies. Anybody remember desert sailing on the Baja? Something I'm not familiar with, but apparently it's a little cart and you had a sail and you took off across the desert and hoped you didn't crash. I don't know. Since the magazine wouldn't show any Pontiacs in full color, Pontiac did. They bought the whole center spread to show off the new 1976 Pontiac Grand Prix in a great 2-page full color ad. Kenny remembers them, but he never tried it. So. Here's a great 70s ad. Here it is, the new Jeep CJ7. Everything you always wanted in a CJ and more. Rusty, that was designed after the wind sled for ice racing. Okay. I said, I don't really know much about any of that stuff, so I've never been around it. Don't know anything about it. Another great full color 2-page ad from Buick. Obviously, GM had tons of pages in there, but they didn't give me any color pictures. So, Buick, dedicated to the free spirit in just about everyone. This article shows off 2 Buicks, one new, one old. One showing classic Buick styling, the other trying to show the new Buick Regal and the differences in them. That the new Buick Regal was just sportier, but still had the same classic design and same accessories and features you would have expected in a Buick. The new Regal sitting alongside a 1953 Roadmaster sedan in this full color ad for Buick. Obviously, you spot the Buick in this picture. Everybody's looking at the 53 Roadmaster. They want to show off the new 76 Regal is still cool and sporty and still has all the features you'd want. John just says, I'll take them both. That's not a bad plan either. Jeeps have always been cool toys. That's right. They're just toys, but they are cool. Jeep, just empty every pocket. He still wants one anyway. So a great full color 2-page Buick ad, as well as follow up the 2-page Pontiac Grand Prix ad. Obviously the Grand Prix and the Regal, same platform in that era. So big push on those sporty luxury type thing. Pete had a 77 Regal ad. So cool. Yep. when Buicks got tiny. They still weren't very tiny, but one other ad that we have to look at because we are in the 70s, and that's why one fun thing about doing these magazines is the time frame that we're looking at. Mark, I just found a little hubcap from a 50s Buick. And I remember these. I had something similar to these as a kid. I'm sure when I was a little kid, 7, 8 years old. And I'm sure a lot of us remember these. And this thing just cracked me up. Belt buckles, we got them all. $3.50 a piece. Pewter belt buckles, solid bronze buckles, guaranteed to last a lifetime. Who remembers these things? Order your preferred vehicle make on your belt buckle. Shopcat, after this and after you subscribe to Outcast Project, head over to Big Block 402. Shows you the internals of a 402 Chevy with a pan still installed. So I thought this was so great, so 70s of these pewter belt buckles, the Porsche, the Cadillac. I mean, they were just a kind of a sign of the times. Order them right here out of the back of Motor Trend for your preferred brand to get yourself a new belt buckle. X-Ray Dean, cool memories. That's right. Something else that I noticed here right at the end of this magazine, right before we get into the classifieds, and there's only a few classifieds, but that's true, Outcast. There probably were a better quality buckle than you could get today. Yeah, a lot of you guys are starting to remember them. That's why when I saw it, I was like, oh, yeah, we got to look at that. We've got to check that out. So is that a Harley buckle? I think one of them was a Harley. I thought I saw a Harley one on here. Yes. Harley, right here, there's a Harley. There's even a Cord 812. There's an Indian. All kinds of cool stuff. Randy said they sold them at car shows as well as with it. Embroidered patches. I remember getting a few patches when I was a kid too. So here towards the end, and another little interesting article that I saw, or just a little tidbit actually. And in today's world, this is such a big deal. It's so huge because of liability and lawyers and everything, how out of control some of this stuff has gotten, and that would be recalls. Well, how did you find out about your recalls in 1975 when you didn't have the internet? You read the back of Motor Trend for the recall section. So what we're being recalled in May, when was this? October of 75. Honda versus Yamaha. What was it? I must have missed that one. But in the recalls, and this is great because as we think about recalls today and safety equipment and all that stuff that everybody deals with, the first recall that they mentioned, domestic vehicles, 1974, 1975 Cadillac, all models equipped with air cushion restraint system, except Series 75 and commercial chassis. Anybody remember that? Air cushion restraint system? Yes, GM had airbags in 74 and 75. The possibility that an underhood wiring harness may be routed so that it can be pulled into contact with a power steering pulley. If this happens, it could rub the cover through and cause a short, allowing inadvertent deployment of the air cushions in the passenger compartment. It is possible for some drivers to lose control and a vehicle crash could occur. Correct by inspecting and rerouting the harness. That's right, John. Most recalls today are for crap you don't need anyway. That's true. So, but yes, in October of 1975, there was a recall for, they weren't airbags at the time. They were air cushion restraint system in the new 74 and 75 Cadillacs. Now, if you weren't aware of that, then yeah, but that is true. I mean, a lot of people are not aware of that, but GM had airbags in the mid-70s, and guess what? Nobody really cared. They didn't sell. They weren't a very popular option. Nobody knew what they were, and they were discontinued after a few years, and very few cars sold with them. I know Dad said he remembers a few of them that they got in at the Buick Olds Cadillac dealership when he was there. I don't think I've ever seen one in person, but it was happening at that point. Just most people didn't realize it. So that's right. It'd be a heck of a surprise when Granny's on the way to church. They blew up. Foreign vehicles, 75 Jaguar had a recall for an incorrect size mirror installed on the driver's door. And what was weird is there were a lot of recreational vehicles. Half this article or half this whole column, recreational vehicle recalls. 1975 Midas International Mini Home, 1975 Mobile Scout Travel Trailer, 1970 to 1970 Starcraft Tent Camping Trailer, 1975 Winnebago, all had recalls on recreational vehicles as well. I thought that was kind of odd. X-Ray said it was a high dollar option, so. But recreational vehicles, I thought that was weird. That's right, Kenny. People were scared of new stuff. It was something they didn't understand, they didn't know about. But that was part of it. That's the way it went, and they didn't take off. 15 years later, I became almost mandatory about 15 years later. By the late 80s, we started seeing them again, and now they're obviously everywhere. That's right, John. Just pull the fuse. So, classifieds. There's only a few classifieds in this month, and this was back when, and we've seen this before in a few motor trends from this area or from this era. Is if you wrote a funny, catchy ad, they would just run your ad for you, I think, for free. So that's what they had in here. There's only a few cars in the classified section here, but they were kind of funny, catchy ads that if you wrote something intriguing enough, they would throw your car in here for sale for you. So what did they have? Fit for a King. Bet most of you readers think this is a 53 Mercury. Well, it isn't. It's a 53 Monarch. For the benefit of our American readers, a Monarch is a Canadian-built Mercury. The car picture here is original throughout, has 71,000 miles, black exterior, original paint, gray interior, also original, never involved in an accident, $2,000 for a 53 Monarch Canadian version. All that stuff in the 70s had bumpers with shocks on them as well, Outcast. X-Ray RV wiring harness didn't match the changes to the chassis. They just hacked them together. Yeah, that's true. That's for sure. It's probably why half that column recalls was RVs. Good day around here is a red light on the dash burns out. There you go. Ford had air ride in 58. GM had air ride in 58 as well. On everything, believe it or not. Even Chevrolet. I've even got the Level Air emblem up there. So if it was closer, I'd grab it. I've still got that 1958 Chevrolet, the actual emblem that says Level Air from an Air Ride 58 Chevy. Number one's liking the Canadian content on the Monarch. So the next ad, just what the psychiatrist ordered. This 1967 Ghia Fiat 1500 GT with original 1481cc Fiat power plant and all the other things that drive parts hunters crazy. If you like to search for parts or have people ask, what is that? Well, then this is for you. I've had my 2 years of fun and will now release this opportunity to anyone with $2,500 and a weak mind. And that is literally word for word exactly what it says. This is a movie I wasn't familiar with. We will laugh in the car, and laugh they did when Cary Grant was spirited away by dastardly spies in a 1957 Cadillac limo just like this one. The film was North by Northwest, says the Phantom of the Classifieds, and it is my second favorite movie. The limo is a 9-passenger model, complete with new 6-ply tires, air conditioning, and dual-control radio. Drive it home for only $2,500. Just for laughs, suggests the Phantom, why not dress up like the effeminate Mr. Leonard and park it in front of Cary Grant's home? If that plan appeals to you, contact. So, anyway, yeah, I don't, Ghia Fiat, I don't know what it was either, but I'm just reading the ads because they're funny. So, but anyway, there's a few cool classified ads from the 1975 issue of Motor Trend from October. And on the back, a full color Marlboro ad. Come to where the flavor is, come to Marlboro Country with the Marlboro Man. Closing out this issue. That's right, AC, it was rolling. He was a big baller with AC, that's for sure. Of course, the 57, a lot of Cadillacs had air by 57. So anyway, there it is. The Complete Automotive Magazine, Motor Trend, October 1975. Cover price of $1. That's right. Back when men were men, they smoked Marlboros and wore cowboy hats. So anyway, that worked out good. Great guy. You guys liked it. Appreciate it. Glad y'all had fun with it. And that's the point. Lots of comments that you liked it. The splitting the magazine and taking 2 weeks on a magazine is working out a lot better. We're not on here for 4 hours. We're still on here for 3 hours, but it's a lot better. I'm getting more out of it. I'm glad you guys are getting more out of it. And that's the point. We're trying to have fun here, but we also want to learn. The more knowledge we know, the better off we are. And that's what's great. And that's why it's a chat. We're all learning. We're all studying. It's all of our input is what makes this what it is. So that's the entire purpose of it. So I'm glad that we're all getting more out of it by taking a little more time with it. So anyway, trivia, raffle. Let's play some trivia. As always, we play trivia. I'm going to put it on a 90-second timer after I ask the question. It usually takes number one about 2 seconds into the timer to get the answer, but we put it on a timer anyway. You got 90 seconds after I read the question for the answer, for the simple fact that we're getting to the point where we're sitting here for 2, 3, 4 minutes as people were going through videos looking for answers. So Kenny agrees with me on the magazine. Randy agrees, says 2 weeks bet is the best. John says he loves the magazine, but now he wants a 70s Buick. Perfect Mark. We'll get that straightened out tomorrow. Not a problem. Jason, you must be getting thirsty. Let's see. Perfect. Yeah, lots of comments on the magazine and also the 2 week format on it. That's what's great. We can shift this thing anytime we want. When we talk about things and we talk about different things and how to do things different and we come up with something that works, we can just switch it. It's not a big deal. That's what's great about it. But the trivia question for tonight. At the Hutch swap meet. Yeah, Pete's just going to congratulate number one right now and be done with it. At the Hutch swap meet, there was a Chevy sedan delivery for sale. What year was that Chevy sedan delivery? We are on the timer. We'll wait for number one's answer, and or maybe Jason gets it. Jason's been pretty good on some of these too. What year was that Chevy sedan delivery? Don't see it yet. Lots of guesses coming in. Jason got it as a 50. Jason was first. Mark had it right after that, but Jason was first. It was a 50. You guys were all over it, but Jason was the first one with the answer at 50. Oh, I didn't even show you. We had a matchbook for tonight. I forgot to show that. Pendrake Oil Company matchbook. That's what we had set out for tonight. Pennsylvania Refining Company, Pendrake. John Weiss, district manager on the Pendrake matchbook. Forgot all about that. Got a little ahead of myself. So, there we go. Number one says it was pale yellow patina with one red wheel, though. Okay. The raffle. Who's in on the Delco sign raffle? As always, I do these by week. Oh, number one thought it was going to be Hankin Motors from Larned, Kansas. That's where my Trans Am was sold new. Good guess, though. I do these by week. These are sorted by week, so some of these names are in there multiple times. A lot of guys are just rounding up their auction purchases and things like that. So we will we'll go through these, and yes, that's right, Tweedledee. Next Sunday we are giving away this Delco sign. It is metal painted. It is painted tin. It is off of a Delco battery rack. 50s or 60s probably. It is an original sign. So $1 a chance. If you're not in, you send me every dollar you send me, put your name into the big Buick oil can one time. $5 you enter 5 times, $10 you enter 10 times for the Delco sign. We will draw 3 names. We'll give away a can or a tag or something else to go with it. We will have a couple of more runner-up prizes after we give away the Delco battery rack sign. Jason just says he guessed. Well, I figured that because there was a whole bunch of numbers scrolling up there. I think everybody was just guessing, but that was it. So, but anyway, who is in on the Delco sign at this point? Tweely D, Jason Withrow, Charles is in. Zach Thompson, Reno Holland is in. Kenny Peterson, Ron Walensky, and Alec Blanchett. Second week, Tim Page, David Woodcocks, Zach Thompson, Jason Withrow, Kenny Peterson, Alec Blanchett. This week, Alec Blanchett, Reno Holland, Dennis Chapman, Zach Thompson. And I did just get Lee Carr. I did just get yours as well. I already had this packet done. So I will get, I'll get you worked into next week. But Lee, I do have yours. I just got it late this afternoon and I already had this week's entries already done. But I do have you printed and I've got you in there for this week's packet. So anyway, that's who is in as of right now. In for the Delco sign raffle. Auburn badge. New inventory this week. Like I said, I didn't pick up any cars, so David W had all the detail of the wrong video. That figures. But anyway, I've got to obviously pick up some cars this week. I have to. I haven't picked up anything lately, so I got to get to Holland. So we're definitely going to have some new inventory to talk about next week, and then I'm going to have to start cranking some videos out on it as well. So what do I do have coming up for videos next week? Still got some more stuff from my buddy's yard. I'll get another one of those up. I will get the video up from the Hutch swap meet of what I brought back. The stuff I hauled, the parts I got with the Hutch swap meet, as well as hopefully some new inventory. We'll have surprise bags if I get that far. Number one, I will try to get a couple of those ready. So that's what's coming up. At least something from my buddy. No cars. How many did you buy this week though? I did I got a deal worked on trading a later model car that I bought for a couple. There'll be a 64 Thunderbird coming in on that deal, but I didn't have to write a check for it. So I'm actually getting the Thunderbird, another car, and a little bit of cash. So I didn't have to write a check for that one, but I should be getting it this week. I think that's all I bought. And I didn't have to write a check for that. So that's good. I don't think. I have to get the checkbook out and look. I don't think I bought anything. I don't think. Other than parts. Bought a lot of parts, obviously, in Hutch. Ozark picked up a 40 Ford. Bed. Oh, Bed. I think that's Bed. Cool. Glad you got that. John drove my Rambler over to the grocery store. Had a dozen people standing around it. Made the long nights and busted knuckles worth it. Let me see if I got those pictures. We'll show it. Oh, yeah, there it is. All right, there's the Rambler. So you guys can all see that. Jason's thanking me for everything I do for the show and the hobby. But yeah, this is really about you guys. I appreciate that, Jason. But this is about you guys and your participation is what makes this great. But there's the little Rambler wagon that John's car there. So no, I don't think the roof slid back on Ramblers. That was a Studebaker Wagonaire that the roof slid back on. So anyway, and like I said, I do appreciate all the kind words and all the support from you guys. But really, this is about all of us, about making this thing what it really is. And I do appreciate your support, your kind words. I appreciate you telling your friends to come join us and hang out and making this what it is, because that's what makes it fun. So anyway, yeah, that's right, David. What David agrees with me on the Studebaker. Actually, there is a Wagonaire in the new yard too. There is a Studebaker Wagonaire. I do have one in the new yard over there on the north side of me. So anyway, shoot, that's about what I got for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun with you. Thanks for participating in the auctions. Thanks for participating in trivia and all the comments and all the feedback and making this all work the way it does. Big Job says, here's Johnny again. I still don't think I'm quite at that level as far as a quote unquote talk show host, but I do try. I do try to do a good job for you guys. And when I work up all my notes, I work these sheets and try to come up with a good quality product that we can all enjoy and have fun with. So tell your friends, invite them over. Let's get a few more people on here. We've been kind of at a stalemate on viewers. We've been kind of stuck. I'd love to see a few new faces hanging out with us on a more regular basis, because that's what makes it tick. Good participation and good feedback is what makes this what it is and what makes it fun. So an Auburn badge and a Hudson badge, both of those, neither one of those hurt either. Please send a check on Thursday. Perfect. I'll be watching for it. As always, PayPal check, money order, Western Union, whatever you want to do on auctions. I will try. As soon as PayPal stuff usually gets shipped pretty quick, usually by Tuesday. If you do it tonight, if you've got questions, if you bought anything and you're not sure, my number is in the description part of these videos. Just give me a shout. We'll get it figured out. Not a big deal. I'm not worried about it. I've got a few things that are getting a little bit old that are probably going to get resold here within the next week or two. That I have guys that I have not heard from, just since they kind of bid on stuff and then ghosted us. So there's a few things that are going to end up back in the auction boxes coming up. The other options for lives right now are a bird's nest, a bucket of paint drying, a bridge that's way too low for traffic, and Sunday Night Football, or me. So I get number one's vote. So, no problem, X-Ray Dean. We'll get it figured out. I'm not worried about you. I know you're good for it. There's some guys that bought a few things, and it's just 3 or 4 things that I have heard nothing on. So those are the ones I'm worried about. The guys that are on here and are still part of the chat and making things happen, I'm not worried about because I know we'll get it figured out. So thanks, Randy. Appreciate that. I got to get with you on that other cool stuff that we got working on there. With that, I guess I'm going to get ready to sign off. I will keep an eye on comments for a few more minutes here as we get ready to wrap up. As always, I appreciate you guys being on here. I appreciate your support and for making this what it has become. 135 times. As crazy as that sounds. You guys still keep coming back, which is great. I don't remember if your number's on that email or not, Randy. And that email actually, that is something else I better mention to you guys. That Cox email address is probably not going to work. We're going to drop that provider probably this week. So that Cox address, I need to pull it off of the descriptions because that address is probably not going to be good anymore. CSE2 or CSE3 at Yahoo will work, but that Cox address is probably not going to be any good anymore. So anyway, we'll see what we can get figured out there. I will change that, and please be aware that Cox address probably will not be good anymore. But anyway, if you got questions about any of this stuff, you can always give me a shout, and we'll get her figured out. Don't worry about it. So thanks for being here, everybody. Everybody else is signing off. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the friendship and camaraderie that we have on here amongst all of us. Addie says you guys can have me as often as you would like. So. Just carry your empty lunch bag with you. Pick up coins and bottle caps and pins from the cars you buy this week. Kenny, great to be part of the Nobody's Clan. We're glad you are. And I guess that'll do it. I'm going to bail off. We'll get a video from my buddy's yard up, a video about the stuff that came home from Hutch Swap Meet. Like I said, it got some cool toys and some cool stuff for the next few Toy Tuesdays coming up. So we will be live Tuesday night at 7 o'clock with some, I don't know. We got a cool Southwind heater cabinet. We got some cool toys. Like I said, I got that one cool toy from Tim from Mr. Good Pliers to check out. So we will we'll get some of that stuff squeezed in as well. Scott says, great show on Facebook. Glad you guys are still hanging in there with us on Facebook. And still got a few people over there. So glad you guys hung in there and the system worked for us. And we're going to wrap this thing up. So we'll see you 7 o'clock Tuesday night for some Toy Tuesday. Everybody have a great week, and definitely hope to see you back here next Sunday night, 7 o'clock for Sunday Night Live Chat. Is Addie's avatar a gremlin or a rank? Gremlin. Oh, yeah. She likes gremlins, that's for sure. So, anyway, that'll do it. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight and being part of this and making it what it is. We'll see you 7 o'clock Tuesday night. If not, we will definitely hope to see you back here next Sunday night, 7 o'clock, Sunday Night Live Chat. We're going to give away that Delco sign. Plus, we're going to get a couple of other names out of the big Buick oil can for some runner-up prizes. We're going to have a great auction. Don't feed them after midnight. There you go. That's right. And we're going to have another great episode. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for spending 3 hours, basically your whole Sunday evening here hanging out. And we'll have some more fun. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making this what it is. And thanks for all your support. We'll see you next week.